Chapter 947. When Li Longji saw that Zhang Xiaobao was adamant about not being able to build a railway to Tibet, Wang Wan chimed in as well. She seemed very disappointed. In truth, he wanted to build a railway with Chong'an as the center and extend to the entire Great Tang. At that time, he would be able to transport goods during normal times and soldiers during wartime. He would also be able to roam around everywhere. The main reason was that it was convenient. He believed that with the development of technology, trains would be able to run faster. Then, every trip he made would be like a trip to the hibiscus garden. If there were enemies at the borders, he would be able to deploy his troops from Chong'an to Lingnan. The fastest time he could take would be 10 or even 8 days. When he thought about this, Li Longji could not help but think about the problem of another country that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's master, who was in hiding, had mentioned. Xiaobao, it's rumored that there's a very powerful country. Apart from being able to fire cannonballs from Luzhou to the capital, how fast is that country's troops? Can they reach Luzhou in 5 days? 5 days? Zhang Xiaobao looked at Wang Wan in shock. Wang Wan replied to Zhang Xiaobao with a Li Longji is already daring enough expression and helped Zhang Xiaobao to answer, Your Majesty, it said that they can reach Luzhou in 1 day, including when they receive the news, order the troops to be deployed, prepare the weapons and supplies, arrive at the location, set up the defensive line, and complete the first wave of suppressive attacks. Don't tell me they can fly? Li Longji suddenly felt his joy fade away, and a sense of pressure washed over him. Fly? Why would they need a day to fly? I only have a rough guess. Wang Wan did not dare to tell Li Longji how fast her and Xiao Bao's troops were. A day? A day was enough for a bomber to bomb a country on the other side of the world twice. Li Longji panted heavily and gradually relaxed. He thought about it. What else can I do? Fear alone would not solve the problem. Speeding up development was the most important thing. When the time came and the military could not keep up, he could at least submit to them. Xiao Bei whispered to little Yuan, Is there really a powerful country? Perhaps. Xiao Yuan didn't dare to be sure. He then said something very philosophical. When we use a small stick to push aside a small stone to look at the ants hiding behind it, perhaps someone is thinking of pushing aside the earth to observe the sun that is like a firefly in their eyes. What about the moon? Xiao Bei began to worry. Seeing that Li Longji had nothing else to do for the time being, Zhang Xiaobao said, Your Majesty, it's already late. Your Majesty should rest early. The technical department is currently researching something that's even more useful than the steam engine. They're also thinking of a way to refine petroleum. When that time comes, our military's combat strength will be further improved. Ah, good. Tomorrow morning, I will order the Supreme Court, the Censorate, and the Ministry of Justice to interrogate criminals. It's time for the fall quarter examinations. You and Cuckoo should rest well for the next few days. Li Longji was so agitated that he was no longer sleepy. He could not think of anything to say, so he waved his hand and ordered someone to send Zhang Xiaobao and the rest out of the palace. Zhang Xiaobao was in a good mood. He even made a few snacks, such as stir-fried squid, grilled mutton, and other snacks that could be eaten as teeth-grinding snacks. He brought his younger siblings to eat supper, washed up, and then went to bed. There were still 3 days before the fall quarter examinations. The news of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan returning to the capital spread like wildfire. Some of the candidates who participated in the fall quarter examinations were happy, while others were disappointed. Those who were happy wanted to show off their talents. Even if the top scorer had already been decided, they could still fight for second place. Because of Zhang Xiaobao's participation, the second place in the fall quarter examinations might become the top scorer in the hearts of others. Those who were disappointed were easy to understand. They did not intend to pass the examinations this time. They just wanted to familiarize themselves with the atmosphere of the examinations. Free food and lodging for a month did not seem to be enough. Chong'an was expensive. There were even some candidates who took advantage of the time to go sightseeing. They belonged to the category of people who were well off and did not care about saving money for free food and lodging. On the afternoon of the third day, near the evening, the organized academies near Chong'an and sent their students to the capital. Just as the evening lights were about to be lit, a large ship sailed from the west on the waterway south of Chong'an. The flag on the ship fluttered in the wind, welcoming the afterglow of the setting sun. The words, Jianjia, could be seen on the flag. Immediately, the noise at the docks disappeared. The students did not make a sound because they wanted to see how the people from the Jianjia Academy looked like. Usually, the teacher often talked about the Jianjia Academy. It made people feel unsatisfied and wanted to compete. Sanshui County had a waterway that led directly to the capital. Seeing that the Jianjia Academy did not take the shortcut instead of the main road, they did not know what to do. The workers at the docks were silent because this was the first time they saw a large ship on the water. They had seen many bigger ships in the past. However, no matter how many ships they had seen, they could not compare to the ship in front of them. The ships they had seen in the past were either for trade or goods. There were countless cables on them, and most of them were worn out. There were officials and rich people on them, and they were as bright as spring. There were also soldiers in formation, and they were as black as iron. The ship that was approaching the shore gave people a special feeling, but they could not tell the specific difference at the moment. The color dyed the fruits of autumn, like leaves and branches. When the wind blows, the glow is warm. It is soft but not soft. It is hard but not dissatisfied. It is end but not strong. It is clustered but not tight. Before the dance, the heart is moved. It is surging without waves. In a trance, the sky echoes far away. It gives people the feeling like. A student was helping the workers at the docks analyze the differences between the incoming ships. Towards the end, he didn't know how to describe it. Beside him, there was a child holding a yellow bristle grass in his hand. He jumped over and continued the student's words. Like the Jianjia Academy, the white dew is frost. The so-called lover is on the other side of the water. Yes, that's right. How is the layout of the attic on the ship arranged? How are the colors applied? It actually gives people the feeling of spring and autumn, as if it has lived through the 4 seasons and has never forgotten the cold and warmth. This is the Jianjia Academy. The student shook his head and sighed. He was not facing the sharpness, but the depth. The ship and the water were in harmony. It was both distant and near. The ship of the Jianjia Academy slowly approached the shore in silence and anticipation. It was only when someone on the ship called that the workers at the docks woke them up. They were busy throwing ropes and helping. When the ship came to a stop, a staircase came down and people began to walk from the ship to the shore. The students of Jianjia Academy lined up in 2 rows and walked down steadily step by step. Their eyes were clear and unbiased. They were neither arrogant nor pretentious. Just like the ship they had just seen, they were calm and unperturbed. The people on the shore stared at them. They saw that the people from Jianjia Academy were wearing brown shoes and bright gray robes. When they walked, they could see that they were wearing light black pants. Their hair was tied up loosely with a silk scarf on their heads. On their chests, there was a light green word, Jianjia. When all the students of the Jianjia Academy got off the ship, they split into groups and boarded the carriages that came to pick them up. So this is the famous Jianjia Academy. A student stared at the people of the Jianjia Academy without blinking. When the carriages moved toward the city gate and gradually became small dots, he said enviously. Yes. Another student said, while we were worrying about whether we could pass the exam, they already knew how to be an official. It has been 7 years. Not a single person from the Jianjia Academy who came to take the exam failed, and I have never heard of anyone resigning. The only one who left his position was the county magistrate who commanded the people to save themselves on the banks of the Wei River during the heavy snow 5 years ago. He died from overwork. After that, the Jianjia Academy immediately added a class to recover a lot of energy through a short period of deep sleep. The Jianjia Academy is called the Jianjia Academy for a person. The Tao is vast, but it is in the center of the water. The arrival of the students of the Jianjia Academy made some of the students who wanted to take advantage of the fall quarter examinations lose confidence. The students who had not seen it with their own eyes at the docks heard that more than 100 people from the Jianjia Academy had come this time. With them here, the requirements for admission would definitely be raised. They were under great pressure. The scholars of the Jianjia Academy had no time to care about what others thought. After they were arranged to stay in a courtyard with 4 entrances behind the savant's restaurant, they bathed, ate, and rested for a while. Then, they received the information sent by Zhang Xiaobao. The content of the information was about the current situation in Hunan province. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan listed some ideas and asked them to look at them and improve or change them. The scholars looked at the information very seriously. To them, compared to the matters arranged by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, the fall quarter examinations were not that important. This was because the two of them needed people who could succeed when faced with adversity, not people who only had good results but would say that they had not adapted to the situation when it came to concrete matters. Only when the sun was about to rise and those who had memorized the contents of the materials and had their own ideas fell asleep one by one. At noon, Zhang Xiaobao brought a few chefs over to personally cook for the students. There were a total of 120 scholars in this year's fall quarter examinations. A portion of them were lacking in various aspects, so they continued to struggle and study in preparation for next year's spring quarter examinations. Because the great Tang had developed too quickly in recent years, many officials could not keep up with the pace. Thus, Li Longji was not satisfied. After discussing with Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and 10 some other important officials, they decided to change a batch of officials. As a result, there would be imperial examinations every year. Some of them even had the ability to do things, but they did not understand the various scriptures well enough. Thus, they were given a chance to become an official. As for the previous officials, they would have to relearn something like the party school. The shortest would be half a year, and the longest would be 3 years. They would be paid, and the land that was given to them would not be taken back. Those who had completed their studies would be rearranged. Those who still could not complete their studies would be given a pension and allowed to retire. Thus, those who had the ability and the will to fight were not afraid of not having a chance. Zhang Xiaobao did not care too much about the details. The reason why he asked for a chef to come was because he did not want to let the 120 scholars eat from the same big pot. Otherwise, he would just take a spade and choose a big pot to cook for 120 people. It was very easy to cook 1 dish per pot. In the past, when he was in the labor camp to learn new skills, he had done this many times. I don't have money. The food in there is really not good. Zhang Xiaobao said to Wang Wan, who had come over to watch him while he was cooking. Why is it not good? Wang Wan did not understand clearly enough. Let's talk about the food first. It makes people speechless. Zhang Xiaobao weighed the dish with a spoon and then put the chopped green onions into the oil. Eat cornbread. Wang Wan was puzzled. You wish. How expensive is the corn flour? How big is the price of 2 cornbread per person? It makes people look like they are being abused. What we eat is the sponge cake. The sponge cake is big, and we use the worst flour. As long as it is fermented well, we won't be able to tell anything from the appearance. When we are cooking, we use whatever is cheap. If there is an early morning market nearby, it will save money. We can pick up some vegetable leaves and get some coarse salt. Have you seen the frozen chicken rack? The cost is 80 cents to 1 renminbi per chicken. Many people buy them because they are not a good breed of dog. Put 2 in a pot and fry the vegetables until they are done. Finally, scoop a spoon of gutter oil and pour it into the pot to stir. Well, this is called the oil slick. When Zhang Xiaobao was talking, he put the spoon out of the pot. Wei Wei followed the spoon. The charcoal fire below was strong enough. With a whoosh, the whole pot was on fire. Wang Wan felt distressed and said, You only eat that? I won't eat it. I've tasted it twice, and I won't eat it in the future. Only poor people eat it. I'll give some of the money I stole to discipline them, and they'll be treated well. What's the point of being a leader? I'll respect whoever can teach me some skills, and I'll beat those who can't. If you are so good, why are you still cooking? I am still moving bricks. My body needs exercise. The vegetables in Zhang Xiaobao's hands were done. He washed the pot, put in the oil again, and prepared to cook. Listening to you, it is quite interesting. Wang Wan's knowledge of that place came more from the publicity. She had not experienced it personally. It is a pity that you don't have a chance to try it. Over there, the rich are the masters, and the poor can't fight. Even if you want to be a grandson, you have to line up. You also have to give half of your cake to those who can fight but have no money. In that place, you are not afraid of tiring work, but you are afraid of no work. No matter how tiring the work is, you can eat your fill. You are either beaten or beaten. Zhang Xiaobao cooked the new dishes and told Wang Wan as if he was telling a funny story. The cooks worked hard. In less than half an hour, the dishes were ready. 8 hot dishes, 1 soup, and 4 cold plates were served to the table where the students ate. The students were already in their seats, but they were standing next to their seats. Zhang Xiaobao cooked personally, so they did not dare to sit and wait. Zhang Xiaobao carried a dish and put it on the table closest to him. He clapped his hands and said, "Okay, sit down. Everyone can have at most 3 cups of wine. White wine is not allowed. First, allow my wife to speak to everyone. Please." The students felt much more relaxed. They looked at Wang Wan and did not dare to look at her for too long. Wang Wan was dressed up today, so she was too bright and dazzling. What is there to say? During the exam, write well. After you finish the exam, you are not allowed to sleep in there. Chiohan, if it is cold, I will ask someone to send you some charcoal. Don't expect me to give you any notes. Those who are sick from the cold will be thrown to the medical school and let the students there practice. Okay, it is Xiaobao's turn to speak. Wang Wan said casually and let Zhang Xiaobao take over. The students looked at Zhang Xiaobao again and waited for him to speak. Zhang Xiaobao picked up a cup of wine, coughed and said, It is a long story. Eat well, drink well, cheers." The students were stunned and raised their cups. Chapter 948. The fall quarter examination was just around the corner. The atmosphere in the capital suddenly became tense. It seemed that even the air was different from before. It was filled with anxiety and uneasiness. There were obviously more people patrolling the streets. The shouting in the restaurants and inns began to become urgent. The people who sold the so-called subjects were hiding like mice. Teams of boats from Sanshui County transported grain and meat to the capital. The merchants were happy but helpless. If it was last year, they could sell more. However, this year, Zhang Xiaobao said that if anyone dared to raise the price by more than 10%, they should not blame him for being impolite. Whether the rumors were true or false was unknown. In the spirit of believing that it was true rather than not, the merchants of Chong and secretly cried while controlling the price. With the rising and falling of the cost of goods, they timely adjusted the increase of profits from selling goods or renting houses to maintain between 9.5% and 10%. I didn't say that. When Zhang Xiaobao heard the news, he felt wronged when facing the merchants of Chong, and who carefully controlled the increase of profits. Just take it that you said it. Wang Wan had just returned from her mother-in-law and mother's place. She had a lot of wool in her hands. She was assigned the task of knitting scarves for her 3 younger siblings. She asked Zhang Xiaobao to help hold the thread so that she could spin it into a ball. Zhang Xiaobao raised his 2 arms and cooperated with Wang Wan's small movements back and forth. The wool brushed down. He said, "Why should I say that the price increase is temporary? How much can it increase? The profit overflow of 30% has reached the limit. The consumption demand is obvious. The students' food and accommodation are all provided by us. I also brought things from Sanshui County. Do I need to stand up and threaten them personally? I'm not that despicable." Then you go and clarify it in the newspaper. Wang Wan gave an idea. If I clarify it, people will misunderstand it as encouragement. They dare to increase the profit by more than 100%. No, I have to find the person who spread the news. If it's a merchant, I'll let him close down. If it's an official, I'll let Xiao Bei and the others go to his house for a heart-to-heart talk. Wang Wan quickly finished 1 round and changed again. She smiled and asked, Is there a need to ban people from trading? Someone clearly wants to roast me on a fire. Just think about it. A single word from me, Zhang Xiaobao, is more effective than a decree from the imperial court. What do I need the imperial court for? I had nothing to do but talk to him, and everything was resolved. The problem was that the focus of talking didn't seem to be on me, but on Li Longji. With one word, I can decide the fate of the people in Chong'an. With another word, can I aspire for the throne? In a while, accompany me to the palace and find Li Longji to investigate. Once I find the culprit, I won't be able to sleep peacefully. Zhang Xiaobao said angrily and passed the message to Xiao Bei. Seeing that there was work to do, Xiao Bei was eager to give it a try. Today, Li Longji didn't hold a court meeting. The money from the harvest was in place. The money collected by the government was deposited in the local Tang bank. A portion of the grain was in circulation, and a portion was collected. The tax revenue was more than 135 million strings of coins, which was nearly 30 million more than last year. With money, when Li Longji was in a good mood, he went to the royal zoo that he had originally built and devoted himself to scientific research. He used the corn that he tried to grow on his own land to feed the 2 large dogs sent from the distant Tubo. He wanted to change the eating habits of the 2 dogs. Other dogs could eat porridge, but he didn't believe that the 2 dogs in front of him couldn't. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came looking for him, they couldn't help but praise the 2 dogs in their hearts. They were too beautiful, too mighty. They didn't need to stand up. Just by standing on all fours, they could reach the height of a person's waist. They had long hair all over their bodies, big heads, noses, and eyes. If they had to find an animal to compare them to, they were more similar to African lions. Are you trying to make them believe in Buddhism? Become vegetarians? These 2 mongrels are quite pitiful, Zhang Xiaobao said sympathetically as he drew an inverted cross in front of himself. Wang Wan nodded. Mongrels should have a more specific name. What do you think of calling them Tibetan Mastiffs? Let's call them Tang Mastiffs. I think someone fed them meat before Li Longji came this morning. Otherwise, they would have been howling by now. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the 2 Tibetan Mastiffs glaring at Li Longji. He tried his best not to laugh out loud. In his opinion, the 2 Tibetan Mastiffs were ordinary. They could not compare to the black dog Wang Wan saved in Luzhou and its children. Li Longji tossed out 10 handfuls of corn. When he saw that the Mastiffs didn't eat them, he clapped his hands in disappointment. When he turned around and saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he said with a smile, "As expected, these mongrels are different from ordinary dogs. Actually, we can make them vegetarians. It'll just take some effort," Zhang Xiaobao suggested. Wang Wan glared at Zhang Xiaobao. Li Longji waved his hand. "Forget it. A vegetarian mongrel is not a mongrel. Why aren't the 2 of you studying at home? Do you want to see the new animals as well? Your Majesty, there's a rumor recently that I don't allow the prices in Chong'an to fluctuate too much. However, I didn't say that." Zhang Xiaobao felt wronged. "We know. We were the ones who said it," Li Longji admitted without hesitation. "HM?" Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were stunned at the same time. They had found the culprit. Unfortunately, they couldn't seal the palace gates. Even if Xiao Bei came, it wouldn't have much effect. "Xiaobao, you 2 worry too much. I'm afraid that the prices in Chong'an are too high. That's why I came up with this idea. It's working." Li Longji looked very proud. Zhang Xiaobao didn't say anything. Wei Wei turned to look at her godfather, Gao Lishe. Her meaning was very clear. "Do you think I can let the prices reach an uncontrollable level and not do anything?" Gao Lishe glanced at Li Longji. Li Longji and Wei Wei nodded. Gao Lishe then said, "Xiao Bao, recently, a Japanese envoy came to the court. He went to all the princes and said that Zhang Xiaobao can decide the affairs of the Tang Empire with one word. The people only know of Xiao Bao's name and don't know of the emperor's reputation. Thus, His Majesty decided to help them and let your reputation rise again. When the time comes, all the people who should show up will show up and be dealt with in one fell swoop. Your achievements are indeed remarkable. Many people have jumped out. Xiaobao, your prestige is still there. Look at the price control, it is really amazing. You said that the price increase can't be more than 10%. The merchants can steadily set the price increase between 5% and 10%. It saves them a lot of trouble. What else could Zhang Xiaobao say? He silently accepted the fact that he was used as a tool. However, he was still a little dissatisfied. Your Majesty, why don't you say it in your own name? Are you afraid that you're not as good as me? TSK, I'm not as good as you? I'm afraid that Xiao Bei and the others don't have time to study. Once I say it, I'm afraid that the officials below will use it for personal gain. Xiao Bei will jump up and down to catch people again. I don't want Xiao Bei and the others to kidnap a group of 8th to 9th rank officials to Hanyuan Palace for a stroll during the court meeting. Li Longji's expression was lively as he curled his lips. He looked like he was doing it for the good of his younger siblings. Zhang Xiaobao thought about it. It was true. His words were the power of the people. Li Longji's words were called policy. With policy, there would be countermeasures. The better the policy, the better the countermeasure. Xiao Bei had just had her fun and her heart hadn't calmed down. Once she saw that there was a problem, of course she had to interfere. She didn't have other channels to deal with the officials and could only drag them to Hanyuan Palace. Was Hanyuan Palace a place to deal with small officials? No wonder the officials that Xiao Bei had caught were dealt with so viciously by Li Longji. He couldn't blame Xiao Bei and could only vent his anger on the officials that were caught. Even if it was a small matter, he had to deal with the bigger ones. Otherwise, he would be letting down the name of Hanyuan Palace. Since that's the case, I'm relieved. Zhang Xiaobao planned to go back and teach his younger siblings. Zhang Xiaobao wanted to leave, but Li Longji stopped him. Xiaobao, let's have lunch together. Recently, the people at the zoo said that there are too many animals. It's just for viewing. There's no need to eat a large group. It's too expensive. Let's eat a few first. Zhang Xiaobao raised his head to look at the sky and pondered. After a while, he didn't reply to Li Longji. He pulled Wang Wan and whispered together. After he finished whispering, he returned to his senses and said to Li Longji, "If there's no one else at noon, just pick a large one and kill it to eat. The others are still useful." What are they useful for? Winter is coming. It's not easy to feed animals that eat grass. If we really feed them fresh grass, the price of grass will be more expensive than meat. I also want to ensure a profit. The zoo's money belongs to me. I plan to build a garden at the beginning of spring next year. Li Longji placed more importance on his own private money. The main thing was that no officials would object if he took it out to spend. He really wanted to know how Zhang Xiaobao would find a new way to spend his private money while guaranteeing the current profits. Zhang Xiaobao glanced at Wang Wan. Wang Wan motioned for him to speak. So he said, "Your Majesty, actually, the zoo doesn't have to pay to raise the animals." Then who will pay? Li Longji pointed to a pavilion not far away and asked Zhang Xiaobao to go over and slowly explain. The zoo wasn't open today. There was a stove in the pavilion, so it wasn't cold at all. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sat next to each other and began to introduce the zoo to Li Longji. Your Majesty, in the past, we collected entrance fees and sold some animal and bird parts, such as hair and feathers, etc. When there were too many animals, we would kill one and freeze it. We would then divide it into portions and sell it to people who wanted to eat it. Together with the vendors' fees, it was quite easy to support the zoo. Now, the scale is getting bigger and bigger. If we kill too many animals, it won't sell well. I just discussed with Cuckoo. Cuckoo's idea is to have someone else pay to raise the animals. There are two ways. One is to name it. For example, a panda. Find a beautiful one that doesn't have a name. Between the clouds and the water will pay for it. If it's called Haha, then it's called Haha. If it's called Haha, then it's called Haha. If Xiaobei pays for it, then it's called Hihi. It's an advertisement. Li Longji thought for a moment and nodded. Okay, the second way. The second way is to prepare it for someone who really likes animals. Sell the animal to him alive for a sum of money first. It belongs to him. He should also solve the problem of food and shelter. However, he can't casually take it home to raise it. He has to keep it in the zoo. He can pay for his animals to build a house and put the animals in it. He can stipulate that he has the right to let the breeder take the animals out a few times a month and let them follow him to a safe place to play. He needs to pay the breeder a sum of money, which is to say, the zoo. Thus, his identity will be revealed. When he has nothing to do, he will take 2 camels out to go shopping, which will immediately attract a lot of attention. Zhang Xiaobao then talked about the second way he and Wang Wan came up with. Li Longji and Gao Lishe thought for a moment. The first way was okay. The money spent on advertising was not wasted. As for the second way, Xiaobao, the second way seems unreasonable. If he buys it, why can't he take it home? If he keeps it in the zoo for people to see, shouldn't he also collect some money? I can't bully people, right? Li Longji thought it was unreasonable. There was another sentence he didn't say. That is, if I really lack money, why should I ask random people for money? If I let you, Zhang Xiaobao, take it, will you dare to not take it? It's better to target you than to bully others. At this time, Wang Wan said, Your Majesty, it's different. He doesn't know how to raise animals. If he raises them himself, they will die. If he wants to raise them himself, he won't sell them. When Xiao Bao and I were in the countryside, we saw cattle rearing. Some rich people bought cows, but they always died. I don't know if it was because the feng shui was bad or they couldn't find a good breeder. When they finally survived, the cows became thin and couldn't work anymore. They found someone who was good at raising cattle. When they couldn't bring this person back to their home, they placed the cattle in this person's home to raise. 10 or so cattle were enough to plow a large piece of land. Jin Gui, not only were they responsible for the feed, but they also had to build a cowshed in that person's home. What if the cows die? Gao Lishe asked. It depends on what was said before. If it's compensation, then it's compensation. But if it's compensation, the person who raised the cows also has to pay more. Let's try and see who's willing to buy. Li Longji was tempted. If he could sell half of them, it would be another large sum of money. Afraid that others wouldn't be willing to buy, Li Longji waved at a palace maid and called her over. He asked, You heard what I said just now. I ask you, if I sell you animals in my zoo, are you willing to buy them? The palace maid seemed a little nervous. She shook her head and nodded. Your Majesty, this servant can't sell. This servant has to serve Your Majesty. If Your Majesty really wants to sell, this servant wants to order a tiger on behalf of second uncle's family. Your second uncle? Gao Lishe asked in puzzlement. He's a 6th-rank military officer. When he has nothing to do, he likes to go hunting. When there's something to do, this servant will follow second uncle's family to take a look. Second uncle likes to come to the zoo and likes tigers. The palace maid told him about her mistake and looked at Gao Lishe nervously. Oh. Li Longji nodded. He didn't care if the palace maid sneaked out of the palace. It wasn't a strange thing. Everyone knew it. He couldn't pursue it at the moment. Otherwise, who would dare to tell the truth to him? Ignoring the palace maid's mistake, Li Longji said to the palace maid, Find someone to send a message to your second uncle. Tell him that the zoo will take out animals from today. If he wants to buy them, let him go to the zoo to discuss with the manager. The palace maid nodded again and carefully returned to her previous position with a nervous and excited look on her face. Zhang Xiaobao knew that a tiger had been sold. When the palace maid's second uncle got the news, even if he didn't want to buy it, he had to pay for it. Moreover, he had to rush to the zoo to buy the first animal, the tiger he wanted, before everyone else. As for how much it was worth, there was no way to say. It was said to be worth 500 strings of coins. The cost of transportation and catching the tiger was almost the same, or even less than 500 strings of coins. If it was said to be worth 50,000 strings of coins, it wasn't expensive. He could tell others that the emperor first thought of him and then sold him a tiger. It wouldn't be a problem for others to raise his rank to the 4th rank for the sake of the tiger's face. Li Longji's first business was done and he was very happy. He glanced at Gao Lishe. Gao Lishe understood that he wanted him to take care of the palace maid just now. There wasn't much reason. He was just in a good mood. Xiaobao, I heard that Zhang Xiaobao and the others are going to build an amusement park in Hongnong. Can you spare a place to raise animals? Li Longji began to promote to Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao bowed forward. Thank you, Your Majesty. Zhang Xiaobao has the same intention. He is willing to build a beautiful place in Hongnong and let Your Majesty transport the extra animals there. Half of the profits will be used to pay for the construction of the site, and the other half will be given to the zoo in the capital. Li Longji felt that it was a bit of a loss. Half was too little. He discussed, how will the labor costs be settled? It's better to let Zhang Xiaobao talk to Your Majesty. Your Majesty, rest assured. Zhang Xiaobao doesn't care about money. He can take out 3 million strings of coins just like that. How can he be calculative with Your Majesty over such a small amount? Zhang Xiaobao replied with a smile. Li Longji paused and said, half is fine. There's no need to trouble Zhang Xiaobao. The weather is getting cold. It's not easy to come to the palace. Li Longji reluctantly agreed to Zhang Xiaobao's agreement. He had to agree because Zhang Xiaobao mentioned 3 million strings of coins. If he really let Zhang Xiaobao come personally, he might not even get 30% of the profits. Otherwise, Zhang Xiaobao would definitely keep talking about 3 million strings of coins. After discussing the matter, Zhang Xiaobao really did eat at the zoo at noon. He killed a bear and brought the bear paw back for Li Longji to eat. Otherwise, he would leave it for his brother and sister to have a change of taste. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan returned to Savant's restaurant and continued to feel the tense atmosphere. Tomorrow's imperial examination was set to be held in Hibiscus Garden. Someone had already set up the examination hall. At this time, ordinary people were not allowed to enter. The examinees were nervous, insomniac, and excited. They all had different expressions. Zhang Xiaobao, who had always appeared relaxed, became nervous at noon. It wasn't because of the imperial examination, but because someone reported that 2 of Xueyun's and Hong Wan's children had hatched. Xueyun's children were eagles, not chicks. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan both became nervous. This was because eagles would usually do one thing after hatching, which was to push down their siblings who hadn't hatched yet. 11 eggs represented 11 eagles. If one fell, there would be one less. Zhang Xiaobao didn't even bother to eat. Together with Wang Wan, he brought his younger siblings and a large group of people to the artificial salt lake. Looking up with a pair of binoculars, Zhang Xiaobao took a deep breath and asked the person next to him, "Is everything ready?" "Yes." Next to Xueyun's and Hong Wan's nests, there's a big circle 1 centimeter lower. Just use soft grass to cover it. If the eggs are pushed out of the nests, they won't fall to the ground or into the lake, the steward who was asked said with certainty. What's Xueyun's and Hong Wan's reaction? Wang Wan asked. Hong Wan hasn't come down. Xueyun came down the day before yesterday and broke open the guard's house. He dragged out the quilt from inside, tore open the cloth, took out a lot of cotton, and brought it up. Today, an eagle hatched, so Xueyun came down and called out a few times. Zhang Ying climbed up with a bunch of raised insects and hasn't come down yet. Xueyun is also here. He's probably discussing with Zhang Ying how to raise the children. Little Gongzi, don't worry. We will definitely guard this place and not leave any loopholes. The steward guaranteed. Xueyun was a high-ranking official and had made great contributions in the Tubo battlefield in the northern part of Hebei province. He and Hong Wan's children were probably not ordinary people. While waiting, several eagle cries sounded from the sky and a big white eagle fell down. Zhang Xiaobao hurriedly took a leather arm glove from the side. Just as he put it on his arm, the big white bird suddenly slowed down and landed on Zhang Xiaobao's arm. I knew it. The two of us are still the best. Zhang Xiaobao touched Shuiyun's neck on his right arm with his left hand and said happily. Shuiyun also seemed to be very happy. This was a comrade in arms who had fought side by side. If it could speak, it might even praise Zhang Xiaobao's two sharp spears when Zhang Xiaobao flew into the sky to deal with the group of eagles. Brother, I want to touch Shuiyun. It's so beautiful. Xiao Bei wasn't afraid at all and looked up from Zhang Xiaobao's leg. Zhang Xiaobao squatted down and first touched Shuiyun. This was Xiao Bei, that was Xiao Yuan, and the others. Xiao Bei boldly reached out to touch Shuiyun. Shuiyun really didn't move and allowed Xiao Bei to touch its feathers. Xiao Bei was so happy that it giggled. Is the house warm? Zhang Xiaobao asked Shuiyun as if he was talking to a human. Shuiyun called out. Oh, it's warm. Where's the food? We're feeding the insects now. When they grow bigger, we'll have to feed them meat. I'll get someone to get some live lambs. You can choose for yourself. When the children can fly, you'll have to bring them to hunt for food. Zhang Xiaobao continued to talk to Shuiyun. Shuiyun nodded, which was strange. It wasn't clear if Shuiyun understood or if it was just a habit. Zhang Xiaobao also slowly climbed down from above and let Shuiyun rub its head against his face. He said to Zhang Xiaobao, Hong Wan has already fed the 2 hatchlings and is sleeping. I think 5 or 6 more hatchlings can come out today. By tomorrow, all of them will probably come out. It won't be too far away. When all of them come out, I won't have to worry. I'm thinking that before it snows, they can start to practice flying. The lake and the ground have to be prepared. The baby eagles can fly very far with a flap of their wings. Don't get hurt. It will be arranged. Xiao Bei and the others will each have 1. The remaining 2 will be raised first. I think Her Majesty will ask. Zhang Xiaobao had already begun to plan how to divide them. Eagles grew faster than humans. When they grew up, they might be able to carry Xiao Bei and the others into the sky. He just didn't know if Shuiyun could still carry him. A little further away from the shelf, as the news of the birth of Shuiyun and Hong Wan's children spread, many people gathered. Some came to watch the fun, while others wondered if they could buy one. There were many rich people who thought that as long as they had money, there was nothing that couldn't be bought. There were even people who asked Zhang Xiaobao and Zhang Xiaobao in the inner courtyard outside if they would sell 1 or 2. The people in the inner courtyard were too lazy to answer. When they were annoyed, they replied, Shuiyun is an official. Why don't you try to buy an official's child and raise it? The people who asked didn't dare to speak again. If they did, they would be arrested. Brother, is there a red one? I want a big red eagle. Xiao Bei heard that she could get one and began to make her request. I don't know. I'll have to wait until the feathers are molted and the shape is fixed. There's a red one for you. Zhang Xiaobao rubbed his sister's head, stood up, and continued to look up. Seeing that there were no big problems, he ordered, Give the order. No unrelated people are allowed to come close. Enforce martial law within 1,000 meters. Other than Her Majesty, all other princes and princesses are to be stopped. Especially during my exam. If anyone dares to come over and cause trouble, shoot them on the spot. If they die, it's on me. As soon as Zhang Xiaobao's voice fell, the sound of orderly running came from the road leading to this place. Most people turned their heads to look and saw a group of strong men running over. They were all carrying guns. The eunuch at the front was Luo Bin, who often interacted with Zhang Xiaobao. Seeing the group's attire, Zhang Xiaobao was relieved. They were the Jinwu guards, Li Longji's personal guards. With a rough look, there were 200 people. Luo Bin ran to the front and panted twice. He said to Zhang Xiaobao, Lord Zhang, Her Majesty heard that Shuiyun and Hong Wan's child was born. She ordered this little one to bring 200 Jinwu guards to protect them. Whoever dares to wantonly harm the son of an official will be severely punished. Enforce martial law within a radius of 3 li. No one is allowed to pass or approach. Luo Bin's voice was very loud, no quieter than Zhang Xiaobao's. When the surrounding people heard this, they thought, great, Zhang Xiaobao only wanted to enforce martial law within 1,000 meters. The emperor actually directly cordoned off an area of 3 li and even sent out the Jinwu guards. If Shui Yun was a human, she would be satisfied with her life. Zhang Xiaobao was happy. Good, let me thank Her Majesty for her grace. Lord Zhang, this little one can't go back. This little one wants to stay here. Her Majesty said that if Shui Yun's child's life is in danger because of other people's disturbance, she will chop off this little one's head. Therefore, Lord Zhang, this little one also needs to use your family's guards. If anyone dares to barge in, this little one will first beat them to death for the sake of my head. Luo Bin put his hand on his neck and gestured, as if he was afraid of death. Zhang Xiaobao stretched out his hand to Wang Wan. Wang Wan took out a few banknotes from her bag and handed them to Luo Bin. She said, "Then I'll trouble you." Luo Bin happily took the money. He didn't look at the exact amount, thinking that it couldn't be bad. Seeing that Zhang Xiaobao was about to leave, he hurriedly said, "Lord Zhang, Her Majesty said that you should keep 2. If you want to give the rest away, you can distribute it." "Your Majesty." Zhang Xiaobao agreed and walked back with his people. He secretly cursed Li Longji. No wonder he sent the Jinwu guards. He actually only asked for 2 and even said that the rest would be distributed. He didn't believe that Li Longji couldn't guess that the rest just happened to be 1 for each of Xiao Bei and the others. 2 wasn't too much or too little. Shui Yun and Hong Wan's children were all gone. "Wife, do you think this counts as our dear Her Majesty's kindness to Shui Yun?" Zhang Xiaobao saw that there were no outsiders around and said to Wang Wan. Wang Wan was also very helpless. Forget it, forget it. It's mainly because Shui Yun's ability is too dazzling. Who doesn't want to get one? For the next nest, there will be a prince or something to greet us. I don't know if Shui Yun is convinced or sad to be valued so much. It should be. I've never heard that the little eagles have to live with their parents when they grow up and have their own families. Let's go. No matter how big they get, we still want a nest of children. We can't let Shui Yun outshine us. You can go give birth with the pigs. Shui Yun's storm could be said to have just started. The princes, and their sons were in a powerless situation. They couldn't compete with the emperor and could only continue to look forward to the next nest. The civil officials felt that the emperor's care for Shui Yun was excessive and discussed spiritedly. The military officials, on the other hand, were gratified. In their eyes, Shui Yun was a similar species. Back then, it was able to fly thousands of li to deliver news, which was incomparable to an urgent report from 800 li away. The emperor's care for it was a meritorious service that must be rewarded. The military officials knew that without Shui Yun, Wang Wan wouldn't have been able to achieve such impressive results. Shui Yun not only cooperated with small groups to launch sneak attacks, but also observed the enemy situation and was responsible for air control. People said, "Guan Shan's endless blade glints coldly, throwing away heads to fight for their lives on the battlefield. In Lingtian, who dares to flap their wings, guarding 1,000 li alone, an eagle soars." Therefore, the military officials regarded Shui Yun as a hero. At the very least, there was no one in the heavens who could match up to her. Could it be that such a hero needed someone to disturb her when she gave birth to a child? Zhang Xiaobao didn't know that the civil and military officials of the imperial court were divided into 2 factions. They were fighting a war of words in front of Li Longji. The civil officials spoke in a genteel manner, quoting classics and classics. The military officials were more heroic, cursing as soon as they opened their mouths. They rolled up their sleeves, and their spittle flew everywhere. If it wasn't for Li Longji, they probably would have gone all out to fight. They wanted Shui Yun to see that they were also no match for the civil officials on the ground. After returning to Savant's pavilion, Zhang Xiaobao and the others ate first. Their hearts settled back into their stomachs, and their appetite gradually increased. Xiao Bei and Xiao Yuan worked together to gnaw off more than half of the lamb leg. They rubbed their stomachs and said that it was for Shui Yun's child to try what kind of lamb tasted good. In the next few days, they planned to try a few more breeds of lamb. After the meal, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sat in front of a tea set and drank tea. Zhang Xiaobao drank 6 teacups in a row, and his mouth became even more astringent. He asked Wang Wan, "What questions do you think will be tested tomorrow?" "How would I know? I didn't ask, so it doesn't matter." "Are you worried that you won't be able to pass?" Wang Wan continued to pour tea for Zhang Xiaobao, not worried at all. "I'm not afraid. I have nothing better to do. Everyone else is guessing the questions, so I'll do the same. You have to prepare. After the civil examination, it will be the military examination. If you have 2 days of rest, you can call all the commanders at home over and come up with a good plan. It's difficult for cold soldiers to fight hot weapons." Zhang Xiaobao had been arrogant when he had accompanied Wang Wan to shout at the generals, but in his heart, he really did not have any confidence. There were 2 sets of rules for cold weapons and hot weapons. You couldn't say that if you slashed out with a knife, you could instantly appear 3 miles away and cut off the enemy general's head as easily as taking something out of your pocket. Wang Wan raised her teacup and stopped it in front of her chest. She said, "It's also impossible for everyone to have a submachine gun for hot weapons. The weapons we make are purely handmade. Only our own troops and Li Longji's personal guards have 1 each. There are also very few handguns. The rifling for handguns is harder to make than for rifles. Most of them are rifles. Rifles are powerful at a distance, but in close combat, can bayonets compete with cold weapons? It's also impossible for me to foolishly arrange my troops in an open field and wait for the enemy to fire their guns and cannons. Using cold weapons does not mean that I've taken out the enemy's troops. I can't use their guns. It's just that when determining the losses, the people who use cold weapons are not familiar with them, so the enemy's losses are small. This time, I'll let those arrogant generals who think that they have guns and cannons understand that guns and cannons are not omnipotent. Otherwise, sooner or later, they will suffer a great loss." Zhang Xiaobao also understood that in theory, there was no such thing as an invincible soldier. However, he felt that it would be very troublesome for him to deal with it. He drank another cup of tea and indicated to Wang Wan that he was full. He said, "I've got the information on all the generals. After the literary exam, I'll make a list and evaluate everyone. Okay, I'll leave the logistics to you. I may have to frequently move long distances to find opportunities. You can't make any mistakes about how to distribute the logistics and how to hide them." Wang Wan placed a lot of importance on this sand table exercise. She had to win. Zhang Xiaobao also said seriously, "Don't worry, I like to do this. I'll let the logistics cooperate very well. Give me the map, I'll study it again." Zhang Xiaobao said as he went to get the map. "You're not guessing the exam questions anymore?" Wang Wan asked with a smile. "What's there to guess? I'm the top scorer. If they don't give me the top scorer, I won't be an official anymore. I'll leave behind a huge mess. Let's see who can clean it up. Whoever is the top scorer will take over. Just the great Tang Bank alone is enough to tire him to death." Zhang Xiaobao puffed out his chest and went to the study to look for the map. Wang Wan sat there and kept laughing. The next day, the day of the imperial examination finally arrived. Some impatient examinees hurriedly finished their lunch and headed to the hibiscus garden. They just had to wear their clothes. When the time came, there would be soldiers searching their bodies. As for lunch, the imperial court would be responsible for the brushes, ink, paper, and inkstone. To be more precise, the restaurants that sold food and the shops that sold the 4 treasures of the study were responsible for it. The bowls and plates that held the food would have the imprint of the restaurant. The same went for the 4 treasures of the study. If it was in the past, the imperial court wouldn't give them anything. Now that Li Longji knew how to do business, some of the examinees would become officials. Whoever could provide them with things, even if they wouldn't be taken care of in the future, they would at least have a good memory. Therefore, there were many restaurants that were willing to provide food and stationery. Therefore, Li Longji charged them. Yes, you had to provide food and stationery, and you still had to pay. If you didn't pay, then your things wouldn't be used. The examinees all left with solemn expressions. Only Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and the examinees of Jianjia Academy were not in a hurry. The people of the academy would follow Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Even if the time passed, they would still be able to enter. After Zhang Xiaobao finished his meal, he sat there and drank some tea to help with digestion. Only then did he lead the group to Hibiscus Garden. When they arrived outside Hibiscus Garden, the soldiers were waiting in formation. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan went straight in. The students of the academy had to stop and be checked. Regarding this, the other examinees who came around the same time did not feel that this was inappropriate. Who would dare to search Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan? No one would believe that the two of them would cheat. If they wanted to cheat, they would have already memorized the answers to the questions. After entering the examination hall, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan found their seats according to their numbers. The two of them were next to each other, and there was only a wooden wall between them. There was a soldier with a gun standing outside every single room. Of course, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were different outside. There were at least 20 people outside. In name, they were invigilators, but in fact, they were there to protect them. Wang Wan was also taking the imperial examination. She planned to give Zhang Xiaobao some pressure. It wouldn't be good to be compared to her wife, right? As the door outside closed, it was time for the examination. The official in charge of the examination first nodded to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Then, he praised Li Longji and emphasized the discipline of the examination hall. Only then did he walk in front of Zhang Xiaobao and ask, "Lord Zhang, is it ready?" Zhang Xiaobao glared at the examiner, which meant, "Are you stupid? You asked me." The examiner understood and immediately announced the start of the examination. When the examination papers were opened, they were not read aloud like before. Instead, they were given out. If they did not have enough paper, they could ask the examiner for more. Zhang Xiaobao opened the paper. The first question was about sutra. The Jinsha examination was about sutra. It was actually a fill-in-the-blank question. The so-called sutra was full of blanks, and the blanks were linked together. Zhang Xiaobao glanced at it and saw that it said, "I, Wang Ku, was born with the mandate of heaven to comfort Feng Xia." As for the rest of the paper, it was full of blanks. I thought it would be difficult. It's just Shongshu. If I knew it would be like this, I would have let Xiao Yuan do it. He can also get a good result. Zhang Xiaobao cursed in his heart and filled in the blanks at the back. After he finished, he continued to look at the next one. It was an essay, which was a question. The examiner had to write a poem and an essay according to the meaning of the question. Zhang Xiaobao went over first. Writing poems and essays was a waste of time, so he finished the simple ones first. After that, it was the current affairs policy, also known as policy theory. The examiner was given a question and then discussed it. However, there were 5 questions. Zhang Xiaobao glanced at the questions. They were really related to him. There were questions about Hunan province, foreign wars, domestic economic construction, railway construction, and river layout. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the questions, pondered for a while, and knocked on the wooden board next door. "What are you doing? Are you cheating?" Wang Wan asked softly. The soldiers outside were deaf and didn't see or hear. However, the person next door to Wang Wan heard it and felt indignant. "If you want a copy, just ask for the questions directly. Why are you asking each other at this time?" Zhang Xiaobao didn't care about these things and said, "Don't answer the current affairs policy. If you don't write the real thing, that's lying to the emperor. If you write the real thing and the examiner sees it, aren't you afraid that the secret will be revealed?" "Oh, that's right." Wang Wan responded and asked, "If you don't answer, your score will be low." "Who dares to say that my current affairs policy is bad? Whoever wants to know, come and ask me. I will tell him. I will tell him all the secrets and layout. I will scare him to death." Zhang Xiaobao said disdainfully. "All right, I won't answer either." Wang Wan responded. At this time, The indignation in the hearts of the examinees who heard it disappeared and was replaced by understanding and admiration. Look at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. It wasn't that they didn't know how to write, it was that they didn't dare to. The current affairs policy that they were answering was to see if their ideas were compatible or not. The closer they were to the emperor, the higher the evaluation they would get. They were giving advice to the emperor. If they had any ideas, they would directly tell the emperor. How could they write it for many people to see? Zhang Xiaobao relaxed. There were a total of 3 major questions. Now, there was only a poem and an essay left. He picked up the brush and was about to write, but he wanted to know what Wang Wan was thinking, so he knocked on the wooden board again. Are you going to write a 7-word or 5-word essay? Poem or quatrains? Don't disturb the others. I won't write a poem or quatrains. I will write a song. Wang Wan was annoyed. Chapter 949. Zhang Xiaobao looked around. Other than the soldiers in front of him, the other 3 sides were all walls. He muttered softly, "All right, I will also write a song." He looked at the questions. He had to write according to the questions. If he really did not answer the questions, it would be too ugly. Li Longji would definitely laugh himself to death. They had been competing since they were young. After so many years, he had always had the upper hand. No matter what, he would not let Li Longji laugh at him. Zhang Xiaobao wasn't worried at all that the examiner wouldn't dare to pass his paper to Li Longji. If he really failed on the first try, Li Longji would probably find an excuse to throw the examiner into jail and reinstitute another winter imperial examination. In other words, it would be another winter imperial examination. Anything could happen in this magical world. Wasn't it normal to have another examination in winter? Zhang Xiaobao looked at the paper and saw that it said, "If one hears the Tao in the morning, one can die in the evening. The Tao can be Tao, but it is not the Tao. I know how to speak, I am good at nurturing, I am noble." With one look, Zhang Xiaobao was stunned. He put his mouth on the wooden board. "Wife, did you see? F***K. Who came up with this question? The Analects of Confucius, Laozi, and Mencius. Is there a need to compete with 3 people in one sentence? If you let others hear it, won't you be teaching others? Stop talking. If you continue, I will get someone to throw you out. You can wait to participate in next year's examination." Wang Wan really did not know what to do with Zhang Xiaobao. It was an examination. Couldn't he be more serious? Who heard it? Who dares to throw me out? Zhang Xiaobao was really bored. He thought that the examination would be very difficult. In the end, it was just a fill-in-the-blanks question, 5 discussion questions, a poem, and a prose question. What was this? The soldier who was in charge of invigilating Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan continued to be deaf and blind. The quarrel between immortals had nothing to do with mortals. "Honey, don't write too fast. Slow down. I'm regretting it now. I'll let Xiao Bei and the others participate. Other than their handwriting being a little lacking, they should be able to enter the top 100 in other aspects." "Honey, is your poem oblique or plain?" Zhang Xiaobao continued to ramble. "Che Yun, Xiao Bei can't memorize so many books. Don't tell me you want Xiao Yuan to help you cheat?" Even if he knew the answers to the questions, so what if he passed the exam? You said yourself that you want them to learn and grow through playing. If it weren't for you insisting on fame, why would we come here? Wang Wan also felt that the questions were too simple. This was the country's selection of talents. If one was selected, they would immediately become an official. In the end, the difficulty was even lower than the college entrance examination. It really made her speechless. All right, I'll go right. You're reciting rhymes, right? I'm Ping Yun. You can't possibly say that I cheated by copying you, right? Zhang Xiaobao turned around, but he didn't write. Instead, he fell into deep thought. Similarly, Wang Wan didn't write either. It wasn't that she didn't know how to, but that she suddenly lost interest. The imperial examination was too easy. It was no wonder that Jianjia Academy would definitely accept anyone who participated. It wasn't because of its reputation, but because of the different education methods. Just like that, the two of them were separated by the wooden board and spent 3.5 hours, which was also 3 hours. It started at 7 o'clock in the morning, which was 7 o'clock. In addition, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan finished the fill-in-the-blanks questions and then talked nonsense. It was now past 10 o'clock, almost 10:30. Zhang Xiaobao waited for a while. He raised his hand and was about to continue knocking on the wooden board when he suddenly realized that there was something wrong with the gap on the wooden board. He observed the gap and actually found something interesting. With a whoosh, the wooden board between the two of them was opened by Zhang Xiaobao, giving Wang Wan a fright. Shoo! Zhang Xiaobao raised a finger in front of his mouth. We can open it. It seems that Li, the emperor, was afraid that we would be lonely, so he deliberately arranged for someone to do it. Wang Wan ignored Zhang Xiaobao and began to look at the wooden board carefully. She nodded. The workmanship is very delicate. It's okay. Zhang Xiaobao echoed. How did you find out? Wang Wan was puzzled. You look down on me, don't you? What did I do before? Where did I hide the money that I couldn't find? Passbooks, real estate certificates, notebooks, bearer bank cards that always have 6 zeros as the password. If I don't find them, who am I going to threaten? What am I going to spend? Do you think that I can't do anything to you just because you have 24 full-view surveillance cameras in your community, 4 doors, and 3 groups of mobile security guards? If I'm a little less capable, I'm not qualified to be your husband, right? Zhang Xiaobao touched the wooden board and said to Wang Wan with an expression that said, "It would be weird if I didn't see through it." Wang Wan chuckled and looked at Zhang Xiaobao with watery eyes. She was indeed very satisfied to have a husband like Zhang Xiaobao. If she hadn't come with Zhang Xiaobao, and if Zhang Xiaobao was terminally ill at that time, she felt that she could get a sum of money that Zhang Xiaobao was willing to hand over by understanding him. After locking Zhang Xiaobao in prison, she could get him out through other means and be with him. I know. You were a thief in the beginning. The officials who were robbed didn't dare to report it, so you specifically picked the big fish to rob. You even dared to steal from the provincial political secretary's house. In the end, he mobilized people to arrest you. It was said that the case-handling officer who had never failed before saw you flying from building to building, so he could only announce that the arrest failed. Later, that secretary went to the CPPCC. Wang Wan helped Zhang Xiaobao to prove his innocence. Zhang Xiaobao disagreed. It's useless to live in the provincial party committee's compound. Usually, no one will stare at the CCTV. I can set off a firecracker somewhere else. When it goes off, can you still keep your eyes on the monitor? I took the opportunity to go there. You can check the historical records after the theft. I was long gone. I can. Wang Wan said in a huff. You can. You can only stare at the monitor when it goes off and think about when it will go off. You go back. I am not going to be friends with you. Wang Wan pushed Zhang Xiaobao's head with all her strength. You can. I was wrong. When you were practicing, the firecrackers kept going off. Don't you have to stare at the monitor? Then you can be a security guard. A security guard with military rank. Many security guards are originally from the military. Go back and write poems. Don't disturb me. Wang Wan continued to push Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao stubbornly resisted. No, don't. There are many things to do this time. It will not be easy for them to answer. The exam will last for 2 days. We will be staying here tonight. Don't be anxious. What do you want to eat for lunch? I will cook for you. Do you want to eat double-cooked pork? How about braised frog? Wang Wan finally relaxed. She lowered her head and thought for a while. I want to eat casserole. No problem. Beef brisket and potatoes? Beef stewed with carrots? Chicken stewed with mushrooms? Pine mushrooms? Cabbage and pork ribs? Cod tofu? Dog meat? Dog meat is not good. It is not good for women to eat that. Also, I have to make dog sauce. Mutton and wood ear? How about this? We should have kidney beans in Beijing. I will make a stew for you. First, I will make braised pork. Then, I will put the kidney beans, potatoes, and eggplant into the stew. I will also add chili and tomatoes. After that, I will mix 2 cold plates for you. You can eat it with rice. Okay. Zhang Xiaobao opened his mouth, and a series of dishes came out. Wang Wan frowned. Why are they all stewing? Sister, I am not the one who wants to stew. You are the one who wants to eat casserole. I will play along with you. You can find me a casserole that is not stewing. I will learn. Zhang Xiaobao spread out his hands. Then I want to eat Buddha jumps over the wall. Wang Wan said. I don't have time. Are you going to eat it tomorrow? I will get someone to prepare it today. I also have bear paws. I got it from Li Longji at the zoo. I don't intend to return it to him. Zhang Xiaobao did not care about anything else for his wife. Wang Wan bit her lips. I have eaten it once. There is no bear paws, and it is very hard to make. Sister, where did you eat Buddha jumps over the wall? Let's not be so formal, okay? Actually, Buddha jumps over the wall is only a few words. Fresh, tender, numbing, smoky, sandy, smooth, sweet, and fragrant. Why does it have such a texture? It is because of the ingredients. The ingredients are not put together at the same time. Every ingredient is put together according to the time they are cooked. This is the texture. Actually, I am not willing to eat this. Not to mention that it is very hard to make. There is poison in it. Let me tell you this. I don't need to put as many ingredients as what others recommend. As long as you give me enough seasonings, I can use any piece of meat to make the same effect. It sounds scary. It is just the freshness of seafood, the tenderness of bamboo shoots, the sweetness of rock sugar, the smoothness of shark's fin, the sand of liver, the smokiness of ham, the numbing of rice wine, the aroma of meat, and the rest of the ingredients have the corresponding effect. Zhang Xiaobao pursued the essence of the ingredients and spoke the truth. But the food made by others is transparent. When it is cold, it feels like it is frozen. Wang Wan had eaten it many times. Others needed to order it, but she did not need to. I use fire alkali to make it more transparent. Isn't it easy to make frozen? You can stew fish and make meat with frozen. I will also make some starch and white alum for you. I will make as much frozen as you want. Therefore, don't listen to their boasting. What Big Brother is making for you is the real deal. Many of the ingredients in the Buddha jumps over the wall soup are suitable for the occasion. If I were the person who made the Buddha jumps over the wall soup back then, I would definitely sigh that I didn't have enough ingredients. Buddha jumps over the wall is an explosive food source. It is just like the stew I made for you. The stew is mainly made because it is hard to find meat, so there is only red braised pork. It is mainly made into vegetarian food, just like the pearl and white jade soup. Only those who are not good at cooking can win with ingredients. Look at the dishes I usually make for Xiaobei and the rest. Do I need to put in a lot of seasonings and ingredients? Even a fried egg has its own style. Why are French steak and Italian macaroni so classic? It is because they are simple. I can make whatever flavor you want to eat. In my eyes, steak is just beef, wine, and salt. Macaroni is just tender and smooth. Later, I will make steamed bear paws for you. You just need to put some salt and mushrooms. It is just tender and smooth with a little toughness. What else can it do? If you want to eat raw prawns and clams, do you want me to put 100 kinds of seasonings on you? Why do you need to use leftovers to eat fried rice? Toughness means that there is less water in the rice grains. I will use freshly steamed northeastern rice and roast it in the microwave. There is no difference in the taste. Of course, if you want to say that there is a slight fermentation process in the rice that contains water, then I will ferment it for you. Listening to Zhang Xiaobao talking about how to cook in the examination room, Wang Wan smiled. She smiled sweetly and happily. Xiaobao, why are you different from other people? Because I am not other people. I am Zhang Xiaobao. Many countries' presidents value me, but I don't value them. Because the president can be changed. Zhang Xiaobao is the only one. What do you want to eat for lunch? Zhang Xiaobao changed the topic again. What do you think? Wang Wan became shy. How would I know you? Zhang Xiaobao was very helpless. Let it be stewed. I will give you a chance to mix the ingredients. Put less chili. I know. Green chili, which is also called persimmon chili, has not been cultivated yet. Do you know how to cultivate persimmon chili? As the name suggests, it is a cross between tomatoes and chili. Understood. Hurry up and cook. I am hungry. Wang Wan used words to show who was in charge at home. Don't be unreasonable with me. I will only wait for 5 minutes. What can you do? Afraid of you? Someone, go to Savant's restaurant and get me something. Be 5 minutes late. Oh, 3/4 of an hour. Zhang Xiaobao didn't believe that he couldn't get back his position as the leader of the family. Wang Wan pursed her lips and smiled. Husband, are you angry with me? You want me to be 5 minutes late? No, I am afraid that they will accidentally break the tomatoes. I will cook quickly. I will light the fire now. It won't delay anything. Just watch. Zhang Xiaobao started to light the fire with a sense of accomplishment that belonged to a man. It was just stewing. Do you think I don't know how to cook? Thus, when it was close to noon, the other examinees were eating boxed lunches that were better than most of what they usually ate. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stayed in front of the pot, puffing out hot air as they ate the stew. The fragrance made the other examinees angry. Even if they could smell the stew, they were unhappy that Zhang Xiaobao didn't ask them to pay. Finally, an examinee next door couldn't hold it in anymore. He stretched out his neck and asked, "Why is it not Savant's restaurant who is cooking?" Zhang Xiaobao put down his chopsticks and raised his head. Savant's restaurant doesn't lack advertising opportunities. Go back and call for someone to chase you out. That examinee was very self-aware. He didn't think that he had the strength to contend against Zhang Xiaobao's authority. He resentfully retracted his head and continued to eat the lunchboxes. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head helplessly and said to Wang Wan, "Humans, their desires are really uncontrollable. There is no end to them. How can society develop without desires? Humans rely on their desires to win against other animals. Why don't you invite the head examiner over to eat together?" Wang Wan only remembered that she didn't invite anyone after she was half full. "We are taking an exam. Don't disturb the rules of the exam," Zhang Xiaobao said to Wang Wan as he picked up a piece of dried tofu with scallion oil with his chopsticks. Wang Wan put a piece of red braised pork into her mouth and said in a muffled voice, "Don't mention the rules of the exam to me. If you don't disturb, there will naturally be rules. It doesn't matter if I disturb or not. I thought that it would be very difficult. The imperial examination is too disappointing." When Zhang Xiaobao thought of the exam questions, he started to feel helpless again. Wang Wan didn't say anything for a moment. She took a small spoon and drank the soup in the pot. Zhang Xiaobao also became silent. He lowered his head and ate fiercely. Both of them had their own thoughts. Why? After a while, Zhang Xiaobao put down his chopsticks and looked outside. He seemed to be talking to himself, but also seemed to be asking Wang Wan. Because we are used to 12 years of compulsory education. We are used to not having a good job after graduation. We are used to having a lot of masters and doctorates. In the past, I didn't think about it. I just felt a little. Why do we have to go through such a long period of education and then lose the opportunity to get more survival resources? The country doesn't give any preferential treatment to people who receive education. Wang Wan also muttered. Zhang Xiaobao turned around and picked up the cucumber stick dipped in the sauce. He pinched it with his hand and bit off a piece. "Now you know." "I know." Wang Wan nodded. In fact, the country has never thought of letting the people widen the gap between the people of the same country through education. Because everyone is learning, it is to widen the gap between one society and another society. In other words, it is to prevent other countries from surpassing the basic level of knowledge. Now, I'm thinking if we can take all of our graduates from a certain university and bring them here, they can study tourism, mining, physics, chemistry, and so on, and then compare them with the outstanding people of the same age in Great Tang, the people of Great Tang will be trampled under their feet. This gap can destroy a country. It's just like how Li Longji is always afraid of the country that can shoot artillery shells from Luzhou to Chang'an. Therefore, the purpose of universal education is not to increase the competitive advantage of the people of the country. It is to ensure the survival of the race. When Wang Wan said this, she thought about why the emperor was willing to give the children of officials the position of officials. It was because the children of officials received a different education from the children of commoners. If there wasn't an endless amount of paper, if there wasn't a lot of ink, if there wasn't a lot of books, if there wasn't a good teacher, if there wasn't 10 years of hard study sounded good, but it was far inferior to 9 years of compulsory education with all the conditions, let alone 12 years of compulsory education. In Tang, a child who was willing to learn wanted to learn, but there were no channels of communication. Before Shi and Xiao Bao came, before there was a large number of books, if they could get a book, they would be willing to give them more time to copy it. But what about when Shi and Xiao Bao were together? Free libraries could be found everywhere. In fact, if you went to a stall selling books and renting books, you could go there without buying or renting. Very few people would chase you away. There was a child in the 6th grade of primary school who had just come into contact with the linear equation of 1 yuan. While walking on the street, he suddenly thought of a question that he didn't know how to solve. He would randomly stop a passerby or a salesperson and ask them about it. As long as they had the time and the mood, they would teach him. Because it was too simple, as long as they were older than him, they would know. But what about here? You could just grab a random person and ask them. Moreover, there was the internet. If you did not know a question about the Analects of Confucius, there would be many people who would teach you. There would also be several answers for you to choose from. Thinking of this, Wang Wan mumbled, "The truly frightening thing is not knowledge, but turning knowledge into common sense in life." When a person is not feeling well, they will naturally make self-judgment and take the corresponding medicine to treat themselves. When a place is hit by a disaster and floods, people know to drink water. When a person has diarrhea, they naturally know to replenish their salt. When there is fog, they will immediately wear masks and try not to go out. This is the true foundation of a nation by turning knowledge into common sense. Zhang Xiaobao continued, "That's why we feel that the questions of the imperial examinations are simple. Because the knowledge that you have been teaching me and I have been teaching Xiaobei and the rest is common sense that we take for granted. However, it is far superior to Tang's education system." "Yes, Xiaobao, I've decided. I want to rebuild Tang's education system." Wang Wan waved her fist, looking ambitious. "But it's very difficult." Zhang Xiaobao still did not dare to say that he was going to build a financial system. "If it's not difficult, why would I tell you? Is it not difficult for you to tell me?" "It's difficult for 2 people, but it's better than 1 person. Just tell me, what do you want me to do? Your reputation, my reputation, and our money. I want to build a university, a system-wide one. I want to hire teachers and recruit students. I won't allow anyone to cause trouble. For a period of time, I won't allow any political factors to interfere." Wang Wan picked up a piece of eggplant and chewed it vigorously, treating him as someone who was going to cause trouble. Zhang Xiaobao put a piece of charcoal under the pot. He picked up the paper and fanned it a few times in the air before taking 2 deep breaths. Wang Wan saw Zhang Xiaobao's actions and said, "Look, you don't need anyone to remind you. You only know how to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning. This is the power of knowledge. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. I support you. Wait until we finish the martial arts examination, okay? I'll think of a way for you. Isn't it just building a university? Finding students and teachers, not letting others cause trouble, and getting rid of all political factors? It's simple." Zhang Xiaobao raised his hand to show that he was convinced. He indicated that Wang Wan did not need to continue persuading him. It's simple. Just say it now. Wang Wan wanted an answer that would make her happy. Zhang Xiaobao was slightly helpless. It's easy for me to do what you say, but I can't just spend money and not make money. If I want to make money, I have to put in a lot of effort. I have to wait until the martial arts examination is over. Wang Wan was just about to say that Zhang Xiaobao was greedy when she saw Zhang Xiaobao waving at the soldier outside. She was puzzled and asked, You really are Zhang Xiaobao. You won't take any losses. What do you want to do? Zhang Xiaobao waited for the soldier to come closer and said, I want a few papers. I'll answer them. I've studied for so many years. If I only answer one paper, it's too disgraceful. Official Zhang, what orders do you have? The soldier reacted quickly this time. When Zhang Xiaobao waved at him, his eyes were no longer blurry and his ears were no longer deaf. Zhang Xiaobao pointed to the left and right. I want a few papers. Give me one paper for the theory of the classics, the theory of the law, the theory of the literature, and the theory of the mathematics. Oh, 2 sets. Official Wang also needs 1 set. The soldier nodded and turned to leave. Zhang Xiaobao turned around and saw Wang Wan's puzzled expression. He said, When you were taking the university entrance exam, you only had 2 days. Don't tell me that you only had 1 fill-in-the-blanks question, 1 poem, 1 essay, and 5 discussion questions? Wang Wan shook her head vigorously. How can there be such a good thing? I think you should give me 2 hours to answer the questions for the theory of the sciences. This is because writing with a brush is slower than a fountain pen. Otherwise, 90 minutes would be enough. Chapter 950. The soldiers did not take long before they returned to where Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were sitting. Behind them was the head examiner, and 2 other people were holding a set of papers. Sir, you want to review the questions? The head examiner asked. I'm going to answer the questions. You are Shui, Assistant Minister of Rights. Oh, I remember now. Shui Yuan, right? Zhang Xiaobao looked at the head examiner and thought for a while before saying his name. The head examiner nodded happily. Yes. You have a good memory. Do you want to answer all the questions? Do you want to extend the duration of the imperial examinations? No need. It's just a small question. In a while, bring the examiner here. I will answer it for him. Zhang Xiaobao did not want to be scolded. Because he was alone, extending the duration of the imperial examinations was worse than delaying the autumn quarter examinations by a month. Thus, he immediately took the papers and did not say anything polite. He invited the head examiner to eat and let him leave after greeting him. Assistant Minister Shui did not feel that Zhang Xiaobao was neglecting him. If he really asked him to stay for a meal, that would be a lie. Why would he ask him to stay for a meal when there were 2 people eating? However, he had doubts about whether Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan could answer all the questions. Zhang Xiaobao poured hot water into a cup of barley wine. This was the first wine that appeared during the distillation process. It was also called Liuzi wine and had a relatively high alcohol content. However, no matter how high the alcohol content of barley wine was, it was still not as high as rice or corn. The first wine was around 50% alcohol content. You still want to drink during an examination? Give me the questions. Let me see. Wang Wan took the cup in front of Zhang Xiaobao and took a sip. She drank a quarter of the wine in 1 gulp and finished half a tael. I'll leave you a sip. 1 tael per person. You will feel refreshed. After drinking, you will be able to answer the questions. What kind of questions are these from the mathematics section? The fill-in-the-blanks questions actually have to be memorized. Luckily, I memorized them before. Thank you, Grandfather Bai. That old man taught me a lot. Do you see this? This is the mathematics exam? This was clearly not asking people to calculate. Instead, it was bringing up the forward, gouging out a row of words, and asking people to fill in the blanks. There's a calculation problem. I've left a space here, which means that there's no need to write down the steps to solve the problem. Let me see, the road is 80 feet long. The two brothers will walk it in pairs. The brothers will take 4 feet each step, and the younger brother will take half a step. A total of 35 steps. Was this what the imperial examinations were about? It means that there is a road that is 80 feet long, and two brothers are walking on it. The elder brother takes 1 step and covers 4 feet, and the younger brother takes half of the elder brother's, which is 2 feet. Then the two of them walk a total of 35 steps, and each of them is asked how many steps they have taken. Zhang Xiaobao felt helpless after reading the questions. It was too simple. It was just a two-dimensional linear equation. Wang Wan did not even need a pen and could directly say the answer. Of course, it was not a blank. There were steps to solve the problem. Let x plus y equals 35, 4x plus 2y equals 80. I really should call Xiao Bei and the rest over. Let's not talk about the college entrance examination. If there were such questions in the middle school entrance examination, the children would die of happiness. Let me see again. Oh, there's a two-dimensional quadratic equation at the bottom. It seems that not everyone can calculate pi. Xiao Bao, now you know the importance of a system, right? Wang Wan held a roll of paper in her hand, took a pen, and finished answering all the questions for the mathematics section. Zhang Xiaobao glanced at it and copied it. Otherwise, it would take some time to solve the two-dimensional quadratic equation. He might as well eat a few more mouthfuls of food. When the two of them finished their meal and began to drink tea, they had finished answering all the questions except for a poem, a prose essay, and some discussion questions that hadn't been written yet. There were no multiple-choice questions, no error correction questions, just filling in the blanks, discussion, and so on. The only question the two of them answered was the mathematics section, which was how to judge a case. The judgment was not fixed and had a certain degree of flexibility. The two of them had already memorized all the laws of the Tang Dynasty. After Zhang Xiaobao finished writing, he said to Wang Wan, "Look, aren't the laws set for the upper class? If our family followed this rule, even 10 heads would not be enough to chop off." "Are you saying that the law is useless?" Wang Wan asked. "No, I'm saying that everyone should quickly become upper-class people so that they can avoid the law," Zhang Xiaobao said. "If someone can be above the law, it can only mean that the system is not perfect. The one who is wrong is not the law, but those who are clearly avoiding the law. Not only are they not ashamed, but they are also complacent. If you do too many bad things, one day you will run into a ghost. I'm a good person. Don't look at me and say that we're not going back today. Call Xiao Bei and the others over later. Let's eat hot pot tonight. Sauerkraut hot pot with a chimney. At the same time, let them answer the questions and experience the imperial examination." Zhang Xiaobao reopened the mathematics section paper and began to think about how to write poems and prose. Just as he came up with some ideas, someone came to disturb him. "Lord Zhang, Lord Wang, you two are looking for me?" the person asked politely. "Oh, you're the examiner for the mathematics section oral examination?" Zhang Xiaobao looked at the person and asked. "Yes, Lord Zhang, do you think there's something wrong with the questions?" The person was very nervous. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand. "No, it's just that it's too simple." Yes, it's simple. Go ahead and ask." Zhang Xiaobao sat up straight and said seriously. "Ask what?" The person was surprised. "Ask me a question, and I'll answer it. Also, examinee Wang Wan, ask together." Zhang Xiaobao's attitude was very proper. Examinees should act like examinees, at least for now. The person rubbed his hands and said hesitantly, "Lord Zhang then I'll ask." "Go ahead and ask." "I asked you to ask Wang Wan and me," Zhang Xiaobao urged. "Okay, thank you, Lord Zhang." The person stood respectfully and then asked, "I'll ask, Lord Zhang, that the Tang Bank's reserve rate increased by 1 percentage point, and the bank's deposit rate also increased by 1 percentage point. Normally, this should suppress consumption, But why is it that, in some cases, there is a trend of consumption increasing? Zhang Xiaobao nodded and replied, this is mainly because the Tang banks lending to the outside world decreased during this process. At the same time, the examination and approval requirements were also stricter. This caused the private lending to expand, which led to a situation where the consumption of certain items accelerated. Also, outside of the provision of non-essential items, those who have a large amount of other items and hoard them, in order to cash them out, have to lend the cash to the private lending institutions that also raise the deposit and withdrawal rates. When they judge that the profit lost from dumping the goods is less than the additional interest gained from depositing the money in the private lending institutions, they will sell a large amount of goods at a low price. This will increase the consumption of these goods in the areas under their influence. This is a short-term, localized increase in consumption. If it exceeds the short term, and there is an expansion of consumption, then it can only mean that there are people who are speculating. If the effect is not big, then I can ignore it, but if it exceeds the bottom line of my heart, I will firmly suppress it. Thank you, Lord Zhang. The person was very happy. Is there anything else? Zhang Xiaobao continued to ask. Yes, Lord Zhang. If the quantity of small goods does not reach the taxable quantity, then no tax will be collected. However, there are people who deliberately sell large goods in the form of small goods according to their assembled parts to avoid tax. What should be done about this kind of thing? The person asked another question. Tax will be collected according to the overall quantity of goods sold in a unit time, and a fixed tax will be levied on the increase of assets. At the same time, strict examination will be carried out. The business operation and tax declaration items must be consistent with the actual items recorded in the transaction process. If they are the same, the accounts will be audited. If they are different, in addition to making the difference in tax payable, punitive measures will be imposed. For the first time, the fine should not be too large, and it will be mainly a warning. If the offender commits a second time, the punishment will be increased, Zhang Xiaobao answered. Thank you, Lord Zhang, and... Wait. Wang Wan opened her mouth. She stared at the person and asked in confusion, this year's oral examination of arithmetic has started to test this? No, the students want to test them on this, but they don't understand. After Lord Zhang and you went to Hongnong, Lord Zhang's lectures in Beijing were stopped, and the students had to study by themselves. Didn't Lord Zhang give the students a chance to ask questions when he was busy? The person had a blank expression on his face, as if he was wondering why Wang Wan had brought up the oral examination. Looking at the situation, when the examiner asked him to come, she did not tell him the details. Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao and smiled. Zhang Xiaobao reacted and didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he said to the person, You. All right, after the martial arts exam, I will resume class. You can write down all your questions and hand them to me after class. As for the other people's questions, I will gather them together and answer them all together. Let's not talk about this now. You can ask me about the oral examination of arithmetic. Wang Wan and I will pass the examination of arithmetic as well, so we can begin. Wang Wan also sat up straight and waited. The person smiled awkwardly and said, Lord Zhang, you are making things difficult for me. How could I dare to ask you such a small question? Don't tease me, okay? You want to take the arithmetic exam, and I will tell you now. You and official Wang have both passed. If you insist on making me ask, then you are scolding me. Okay then, you can go do your own thing. I will answer the questions of the advanced subject. Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand and bade farewell to the person. The person bowed and said, Lords, you are busy. I will take my leave. After he finished speaking, he really left. The examinees on both sides of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had all pressed their ears to the wooden board to listen. When they heard the person's question, they were all at a loss. When they heard Zhang Xiaobao's answer, oh, it should be said that it was an answer, they were first shocked and then felt inferior. Look at him. He had nothing better to do and took the arithmetic exam. The examiner who came for the oral examination could only ask for advice and did not dare to ask questions related to arithmetic. Wang Wan watched the person leave and laughed. No wonder the examiner arranged for an assistant minister from the Ministry of Rights. If they really arranged for someone to be the head of the secretariat or the head of the various departments, they would not care whether you took the exam or not. They would definitely pester you and ask you all kinds of questions. Just now, you gave me a fright. I thought that the Tang Dynasty's arithmetic exam was already so difficult. According to this, when Xiaobei and the others grow up, when they take the exam, won't they ask about the tax refund and differential subsidies for exported goods in the Tang Dynasty's import and export trade, as well as the issue of the imposition of punitive tariffs for anti-dumping measures in the process of protecting the cost of its own goods? When you finished answering the second question, I only realized it. But you foolishly waited for someone to continue asking. Why didn't you think about it? Is that a question that examinees should be asked now? How would I know? I thought it was just a question. Moreover, the question is not difficult. Is there a difference between 1 plus 1 and 1 plus 2? Zhong Xiaobao spread his hands. Oh, that's amazing. You know 1 plus 1 and 1 plus 2? Is it the 1 plus 1 and 1 plus 2 question that can be expressed as the sum of the product of a prime number and the product of b prime number? Wang Wan argued. Then what is it? Zhong Xiaobao was confused. Prime numbers. A long time ago, there was a person called Goldbach. He said, answer the question, answer the question. Don't say things that are not related to the exam. Don't disturb me. I want to write a poem. Zhong Xiaobao sent Wang Wan back and packed his things. He once again became a good examinee who knew the rules. Zhong Xiaobao knew what Wang Wan was talking about. This was not a field that he should be involved in. When encountering such situations, he should follow the principles of the 36 stratagems. First, he should avoid it. Second, he should leave. This field could easily cause people to die without a burial place, especially that Chen guy. He was not a person, but an existence as bright as the stars. Zhong Xiaobao was most afraid of people with the surname Chen, because even history could not be erased. Just by hearing their name, he could feel his own insignificance. He could fight against Li Longji, but he did not dare to have the slightest disrespect for a certain group of people in his heart. There will always be some people who cannot be measured by money. Yes. If one hears the Tao in the morning, one can die in the evening. The Tao can be Tao, but it is not the Tao. I know how to speak, I am good at nurturing, I am noble. Answer the question. Zhong Xiaobao thought about it in his heart. He picked up his pen and prepared to continue the advancement exam. He actually did not want to write a songline because there were many words in a songline. There were only 4 quatrains and 8 quatrains. However, when writing a modern poem, the requirements were stricter. The question was very simple, and the content was not difficult to understand. Zhong Xiaobao wanted to write a few times before, but he did not know where to start. Just now, Wang Wan said 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, which reminded him of some people. Now, he felt that it seemed to be easy to write. Thus, Zhong Xiaobao took a deep breath and started writing. What is the Tao? Worship an official, return to the province when winter comes, snow is pure and innocent, find my Tao, leave kindness in my heart. 4 seasons in the world, people are the heavens. This Tao is not mysterious in the distant emperor, I do not know where to go or stay. Looking up, the blue sky is empty, looking back, the thick earth is full of jade rooms. Even ants seek the warmth of spring, how can people avoid the cold of autumn? Brocade returns home, respect the elderly first, do not talk about official status, fellow countrymen. Fellow countrymen stoke firewood, and put winter vegetables in front of the table. Deep in the cold, cracked hands, revealing the light of the fire, moist and gentle face. When I say there are many dishes, I hurriedly put down my chopsticks. When he says there is little meat, he pushes the plate. The cucumbers are crisp, the leek sprouts are fresh, the children are laughing and playing at the table. During the meal, I asked about the deceased, the newly built tower to worship the deceased. The fields are often produced in all seasons. The things by the water are occasionally left behind. The turbid wine floats to the bottom, the gourd soup scars the bottom. The tipsy finger goes to the sui feng, propose to use soil to cultivate mountain treasures. What can be chosen from 10,000 kinds of mountain treasures? Mushrooms are best fried and stewed. Tremella still needs to be cultivated, but purple mushrooms can be produced in the same basket. The host is pleasantly surprised and often urged to drink. Returning guests forget their worries and keep drinking. Or all of Sanshui County. And all of the 4 seas can be mapped. Suddenly there is a noise outside the door, pushing open the window to listen to the light bell. Zhang Wang is afraid to be behind. Guli outside the village is happy to compete. First, white cut chicken pieces are tender, then brown smoked beast head ting. Hurriedly waving and bowing to thank, the noise buzzing in the capital. Inform the capital and the county, the roadside is the same Yonglu song. The Yellow River divides Wei and divides Yellow River. Dingshui clear and turbid together. 1,000 coins are easy to buy a tiger staff, 100 knives are hard to find a falcon bow. My sister Bei Er prepares a gift, staying up late to set off fireworks. The young child asks how many people belong to, bending his fingers 3 times until the moon is full and waning. Invite wine to wet hands, take bowl to add frost to boots. Celebrate until the rooster crows, wake up, drink until the moon sets. Drink half a jar of wine, suddenly go to the chicken coop, suddenly come to study. The school windows are bright, the tables and chairs are arranged, the sun is shining in the west. But there is food and drink between classes, no wonder the children are reading and studying. Clear soup monkey head with abalone, big wonton stuffed with water chestnuts. Suddenly there is an old man patting the shoulder, laughing and praising Sanshui Zhen. Remember to be modest and laugh back, these are small things not worth boasting about. Then he shakes his head and praises good fortune, then shushes and waves his hand, saying that life is short. Is it difficult to detoxify the poison and control the soup? The old man did not mean this. This meal is accompanied by gentleness. Since it is gentleness, what is there to say? It is almost breaking into the house to hit the spoon. The old man cupped his fists and apologized. I bent my hand back to bury myself in thought. 9 bends form a river, the word is a few, the valley name is a pond. You county children eat 10,000 li vegetables, that side of the snow is thick and cold. Winged abalone, monkey head and soup, Lu Zhou's water chestnuts are far away. Huayuan sealed the water and solid, the sound of sand and howling resentful mountain high. Why not use the horseback deer and flying dog? Goshawk sleigh guarding the empty sky? Officials always forget the small weight. Tang he was ambitious in the beginning? I heard that and was shocked. This year the great Tang is sunny. How can the imperial court be perplexed? How can the inner court be so peaceful? Disaster in all places. Chongping is in a hurry to report to the capital. I read all the reports in the capital, are you sure it is not shocking? I am angry and stare, I am determined to think about it. I anxiously shout to Chuanzhou, slowly reply to the county, saying that Chongping has little grain, and that the shops should pay taxes. The meaning of thousands of words, it is difficult to blame the officials and natural disasters. I am angry, I have many excuses, when I meet with trouble, I first evade. The troops quickly set off to the ground, brandishing the knife to cut the vegetables. Pulling out the tendons and breaking the bones, all of the surname to be exterminated, lives taken and souls taken away. Originally, I killed all the corruption, but looking back, I am still alive. Opening my eyes, I am startled awake, holding the edge of the bed, the space between my eyebrows is painful, I think before I am drunk. Shouting loudly to vent my anger, when I wake up in the examination room, the ink is dry. The sun sets and the sun laughs silently, the charcoal star is full of sound. Suddenly I hear the eagle cry, the new moon, the water clouds and red Luan. Raising his hand and waving it, he is actually looking for the top spin. Beasts are psychic, they know how to use their lives to win over officials. Full of masculinity, they are full of righteousness. Signed to find the people as the heavens, there is a dream in a dream, it is fate. Come down, don't stop me. Zhang Xiaobao threw away the pen and opened his arms. Xue Yun and his wife, Hong Wan, came down one after the other. The wind brought by their wings made the soldiers unable to stand steadily. "Stand still on the table, don't move." I almost died of exhaustion from writing a song of more than 1,000 words. I can't ruin it, otherwise I will go to your house every day to cry. What's wrong? Something happened at home? You don't care about the children? Zhang Xiaobao patted the table and talked to Shui Yun and his wife. Shui Yun and Hong Wan really jumped on the table and looked around curiously. Wang Wan pulled the board away and looked at Zhang Xiaobao in surprise, then looked at the paper and asked, "Is it really more than 1,000 words?" "It's punctuation. Anyway, it has more words than Xiaobai." Zhang Xiaobao patted the paper. Wang Wan thought for a while and realized who Zhang Xiaobao was talking about. Bai Jui, who wrote the song of everlasting regret. Then she curled her lips and said, "How can you compare to him? He has quality. I have speed. Give me 2 days and I will write better than him. He writes this kind of thing when he has nothing to do. Do I have time for nothing? If you don't believe me, look at Xiao Li. He hasn't written for a long time. He is in charge of the Ministry of Revenue and he is so busy. I have decided to work hard to live for a few more decades or even 100 years. I will wait for Xiao Bai. He has just grown up, so I will arrange things for him to do. You want him to write poems? He should write reports and self-criticism every day." Zhang Xiaobao said viciously, then opened his mouth and laughed. Wang Wan was also amused. "Fortunately, I didn't get you into the spring and autumn annals. Otherwise, there would be no Analects of Confucius. What are Shui Yun and Hong Wan doing?" "How would I know? I saw them flying in the sky and waved my hand, and they came down. Their eyes are quite sharp. I will have someone go to the lake to check. Don't let anything go wrong." Zhang Xiaobao wanted to order the soldiers to go and check. Before he could find the soldiers, a person rushed in from outside. It was Luo Bin. He hurried to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, looked at Shui Yun and Hong Wan and said, "Lord Zhang, Lord Wang, the children are all out. Lord Shui Yun just fed them. Lord Zhang said that the children are asleep now and asked me to tell you the good news. I didn't expect Lord Shui Yun to come in person." "Oh. All 11 are safe?" Zhang Xiaobao asked happily. "That's amazing. They can open their mouths to eat insects without opening their eyes," Luo Bin continued to report. Zhang Xiaobao agreed. "Amazing, really amazing. In fact, when we were young, we could take the initiative to drink milk with our eyes closed. We are amazing together." Yes, Lord Zhang is right," Luo Bin echoed. Suddenly, he saw that in another single room, there were examinees poking their heads out to watch the fun, so he quickly said, "Since Lord Zhang and Lord Wang know, I will go back. Keep an eye on them, or I will lose my head." "Okay, when I go back after the exam, I will reward you handsomely." Zhang Xiaobao waved his hand and said goodbye to Luo Bin. Zhang Xiaobao turned his head and looked at Shui Yun and Hong Wan. After thinking for a moment, he said, "After I deal with the imperial examination, go back to Sanshui County with me first. I really don't feel at ease in the capital. There are too many eyes and different minds. Sanshui County is our territory. If anyone has the ability to infiltrate Sanshui County and harm your children, he might as well deal with the palace. The difficulty is almost the same." Shui Yun looked at Hong Wan and nodded to Zhang Xiaobao. "Okay, you two go back first and take care of the children. When I finish the exam, I will go to see you immediately." As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he lifted the table and pushed it upward. Shui Yun and Hong Wan took advantage of the force to rise into the air, circled twice, and flew in the direction of the lake. After the 2 eagles left, Wang Wan curiously reached for the paper. "Let me see what you're writing." "Dream, I had a dream." "Oh, there were 2. Chapter 951. When Wang Wan heard Zhang Xiaobao's words, she stopped writing and looked at the sky. It was time to light the lantern, and Xiao Bei and the others were coming. She rested her chin on her hand and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Tell me, what did you dream of?" "I dreamed that I suddenly returned to my hometown, Sanshui County. It was a dream." Zhang Xiaobao was a little embarrassed. "Did you suddenly return to your hometown in a dream at night?" Wang Wan helped. "Don't interrupt. I first sighed about the glory and wealth of people. Then, I met an acquaintance," Zhang Xiaobao continued. "Who? Which Zhuangzi?" Wang Wan asked. Zhang Xiaobao glared at Wang Wan. "That's what it means. I got confused as I wrote. Can you remember the person in the dream?" "Okay, continue." "Yes. You're interrupting, old friend. When you saw me come with gifts, you were very happy. You warmed the stove and went to pick some vegetables. Winter vegetables. You kept me eating and drinking with me. I asked if your family was doing well. He said it was okay. He built a new house and went to worship his ancestors. As for me, I saw his hands. They were cold and his face was red. It's not easy to make money. He even gave me vegetables when they were valuable. I was thinking..." Zhang Xiaobao drank a cup of water when he said this. Wang Wan happened to finish the sentence and asked, "Was there a feeling of cutting spring leeks in the rain at night and yellow beams in the new kitchen? Then you drank 10 big cups of wine, 10 cups of wine in one go." Zhang Xiaobao put down his cup and waved his hand. "No, I'm not as stupid as Du Fu. I didn't ask Weibo to cook chives and cook rice. Stupid? It's nothing more than using homemade things to entertain friends. One is that you don't regard yourself as an outsider. The other is that you only have those things at home. It's simple and unpretentious." Wang Wan asked in confusion. "It's obvious that you don't have a life. Have you forgotten that leeks can't be cut when it rains? After cutting them, the roots will rot. In spring, when the leek roots rot, won't you have to spend a lot of effort to plant them again? You'll miss the good seasons." Huang Liang in the new kitchen. The new kitchen referred to the newly built stove. If you built a new stove, would you dare to light a fire to cook yellow rice when it was wet and rainy? Especially the word room, it's a verb for stirring. At that time, there were no red bricks. Let's try it tomorrow. I guarantee that the stove top will crack. If you use the spoon to stir, the stove top will have to be rebuilt. Zhang Xiaobao was mimicking the actions in Du Fu's poem. Wang Wan was enlightened. "I remember now. I was only thinking about the artistic conception of the poem and forgot about the things in my life." "How much wine did you drink?" "Who knows? I was only focused on drinking. Anyway, a lot. I drank until I was confused. Yes, I told him to cultivate mushrooms next year. Those things are easy to cultivate." He was quite happy. Later on, quite a number of people from our family's manor, the Gu family's manor and the Li family's manor came. We drank with them and only slept when the sun rose. Zhang Xiaobao described the feeling at that time. "Oh, you fell asleep in your dream? Continue." Wang Wan held back her laughter and signaled Zhang Xiaobao to continue. Zhang Xiaobao rubbed his face with his hands as if he was reminiscing. "Then I fell asleep. In my dream, I flew and flew. One moment I went here, the next moment I went there. I flew to the school. In the morning, I ate in the school. They made wontons, which were wontons stuffed with water chestnuts, shark's fin, abalone, and monkey head mushrooms. The children of our two families do this in the school? Don't they have milk and eggs for breakfast? Didn't I say?" In my dream, an old man suddenly appeared and praised our school. He said that the food was good. I just said a few words of modesty, and he said that it was good, but there were people who died. At that time, I was frightened. I tried my best to calculate the mutual promotion and restriction of food. I suspected that if there was poison in the soup, and I was about to rush in and knock over the spoon or something. The old man said again, "Not our school, but somewhere else. The food at your school is good." This made me angry. I thought he said to ask, "Where is it?" He said the line between Huaiyuan, Qizhou, and Mingsha, where the Yellow River is. He said that it was snowing and the road was blocked. He asked me if I had been an official for too long and forgot the people in other places. He asked me why I didn't send my deer, dogs, and eagles to help. Zhang Xiaobao said it as if it was true. Wang Wan was fascinated and asked, "Yes, why didn't you send them?" This year, there are very few places in Tang where it snows. Moreover, there is Chong Pingsong, so there is no need for it. I asked him, "Are you lying to me? Why didn't I see it when I was reading the news in the capital?" He was very angry, meaning that he didn't lie. He asked me to investigate, so I did. The radio signal was transmitted layer by layer. Soon, the reply was slow, and I found that something was wrong. The reply almost made me die of anger. The official said that Chong Pingsong didn't have food. Don't blame them, blame natural disasters. Blame the merchants for not paying taxes properly and defaulting. Do you think they are joking with me? I believed them, so I sent troops to kill them all. I confiscated their property and exterminated their family. As I killed them, I turned around and saw that the people I just killed were alive again. I was shocked and woke up. I was back in the house of the old friend I met earlier. I was so depressed that I shouted with all my strength. Just as I shouted, I woke up again and found that I was in the examination hall. It's over. Zhang Xiaobao spread his hands and looked at Wang Wan. He laughed first. Wang Wan also laughed and nodded. Good, Xiaobao, you are good. You wrote blindly about things that didn't happen. You answered the questions in a dream. Next time, be more realistic. I don't like what you said. Who said that one can't dream? Did Tao Yuanming do it? Did Li Bai do it? Oh, he didn't do it now. There is no chance. Which great poet doesn't dream? Zhang Xiaobao defended himself, looking very angry. Wang Wan patted Zhang Xiaobao's head. Be good, don't be angry. You are right. Great poems all dream. Great brother still needs to cook. Quickly prepare. Xiao Bei and the rest are here. Sure enough, Xiao Bei, Xiao Yuan, and the others came. They were probably afraid that it would be too tiring to come in, so they were still wearing their official robes. They walked with their little legs and looked around curiously. Someone come and help me hold down the papers. Let's eat first. Xiao Yuan, Xiao Zhu, come here. It's time to eat. After eating, look at the questions. In the future, you will have to do it too. Zhang Xiaobao greeted the soldier and came out of the room with Wang Wan. They found an empty space and set up the stove to make hot pot. Xiao Bei and the rest were obviously not thinking about eating. They looked at the room used for the examination and found it very interesting. The lights in the examination hall were lit up. The electric lights were powered by a new small steam engine that burned coal to generate electricity. The examination hall was brightly lit. The other examinees also had their meals delivered. They couldn't come out to eat together for fear of telling each other the questions. They were still in the room. The restaurant that delivered the meals was very generous. They learned from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan when they had lunch. Each person had a small pot with charcoal under it. The bottom of the pot was seafood, and the cut mutton was placed on a plate. They could choose from more than 10 kinds of seasonings. The cost was not small. Just now, outside the door, we saw some examinees leaving. Xiao Bei took off the bits and pieces of decorations on his body and said. Zhang Xiaobao expressed his understanding. Basically, they gave up. Otherwise, they wouldn't have missed the time to eat dinner. Xiao Hai, who usually didn't like to talk, would only speak in front of his brother and sister. He said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Brother, Shuiyun went to Savant's restaurant. We went to the lakeside and heard that all 11 eagles had hatched. We wanted to go up and take a look, but it was too high and we didn't dare to climb." Yes. It's good that you don't climb. When an eagle hatches, it's about the size of a chicken. When we go back to Sanshui, you will see it. Pick one you like. Zhang Xiaobao patted Xiao Hai's head. Everyone started to eat. As they ate, Wang Wan found that Zhang Xiaobao was absent-minded. She picked up an oyster, cooked it, and put it on Zhang Xiaobao's plate. She asked, "What are you thinking about?" Ling State. The Ling State that Zhang Xiaobao mentioned was the big states in Huayuan, Anjing, and other places that he had written. "You're just writing nonsense. Do you really care about it?" Wang Wan was helpless. "Why do you think I'm thinking about Ling State? Our family's business is not in Ling State but in Feng State. Our family's fleet only passed by Ling State when they traveled the Yellow River." Zhang Xiaobao began to analyze his own psychological activities. Wang Wan scooped a small piece of tofu and dipped it into the pot. She said, "Because it is indeed snowing in Ling State. According to the intelligence the day before yesterday, the Yellow River is expected to freeze earlier than usual. However, the inaction of the officials in your dream didn't happen." Zhang Xiaobao looked at his brother and sister who were eating happily. He frowned and said, "It's better to prepare in advance. There is a lot of activity this year. All the powerful businessmen are going to Japan. I'm worried that we won't be able to react in time if something really happens. Since the Yellow River hasn't frozen yet, we must move our daily necessities to a place in the northwest. Store up red deer, dog-pulled sled, and falcons. Prepare to be ready in case of an emergency. I'll listen to you. We'll make arrangements after dinner. Let's eat first." Wang Wan also agreed with Zhang Xiaobao's suggestion. If they didn't suffer a disaster, they would only lose a part of their profits. It was better than a disaster that killed people. Wang Wan preferred the current means of transportation, especially the sled dogs. After they were developed, their transportation ability would be terrifying and better than cars. Xiao Bei and the others listened while eating, but they didn't interrupt. This was a learning process. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan deliberately did this. In the Tang Empire, human lives are always more important than money. Even if we believe that the response of all parties is fast enough, we can't let our guard down. While we enjoy the beautiful things in life, we must respect the lives of others like us. Zhang Xiaobao picked up a piece of paper from a specially made paper bag and wiped Xiao Bei's mouth as he said this. Xiao Bei waited for his brother to finish wiping and asked, "Does the Japanese count?" "Japan. Japan. Not my race. It's beyond my reach." Zhang Xiaobao tried to figure out the language and replied, "I understand. In fact, I love everyone. It's just that sometimes the Japanese don't trust me. I'm very sorry about this," Xiao Bei said straightforwardly. Wang Wan chuckled and rubbed Xiao Bei's head. "You're so smart. Your brother's education is going to succeed." When Zhang Xiaobao and the others finished dinner, the other examinees were already full. They stayed in the single room and drank the tea prepared by the restaurant. Someone brought new bedding. After the examination, the bedding belonged to the examinees. No one cared whether they took it away or threw it away. Xiao Bei and the others gathered around to look at the questions. All the fill-in-the-blanks questions that required memorization were not a problem for Xiao Yuan. Xiao Hai was responsible for all the math questions. As for the other questions, Xiao Bei and the others thought hard. In the end, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came to the conclusion that the younger siblings would not be able to pass the imperial examination for the time being. They were stuck at the topic of policy. The ones who really showed their ability in the imperial examination were Xiao Yuan and Xiao Hai. "It seems that we still need to wait," Zhang Xiaobao concluded. Xiao Bei was very distressed. She found that she was not particularly smart. She looked at the current affairs policy questions one after another and did not know where to start. She would rather be in charge of a county where all the officials listened to her. She could use the various models summarized by her family. Coupled with her own strong financial power, she was confident that she could manage a county well. However, when she was faced with the examination questions, there were some words that she did not recognize and could not give a reason why. Hiding behind the other children, Xiao Bei lowered her head and pursed her lips tightly. She was angry with herself. "Xiao Bei, what fun things are you thinking about?" Wang Wan saw that the usually active Xiao Bei was not, so she pulled her out from behind the others and asked. Xiao Bei puffed up his cheeks and said sullenly, "I'm the stupidest." Both men and women know more words than I do. How am I supposed to know how to fix the road and where to fix it with all those messy questions? I know why it needs to be fixed. It's to make it easier to walk. Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao and signaled with her eyes. She meant, look, you asked them to come, and now you've dealt a blow to the children, right? Zhang Xiaobao was a little regretful. He had always let his younger siblings develop a kind of confidence that they were not afraid of difficulties and that no matter how big the world was, they could do it. Therefore, the things that he arranged for his younger siblings were things that they could do after they worked hard. When Li Longji sent Xiao Bei to Hongnong, he was worried about it. However, his younger siblings did very well. He and Wang Wan were very pleased. This, Xiao Bei, come here. Come to Big Brother's side. Don't be afraid when we encounter difficulties, right? Zhang Xiaobao carried his sister and said to her, That's right. Xiao Bei still had not recovered. If you ask me to do things, I'm not afraid. If you give me a county, I'll manage it. If I ask the people to plant things, I won't be afraid if the plants are bad and there's no output. I can compensate them. Then, I'll remember that if the environment is similar, they can't plant the same things. I'll spend my own money to teach them a lesson. Xiao Bei hugged her brother's neck and said her thoughts. Suddenly, she pouted. But what's this? I don't understand what you're asking. Fixing roads costs money. Why do you have to ask why and how to spend it? That's right. Our Xiao Bei is right. Do you still remember our family's ranch in Fengzhou? Zhang Xiaobao felt that the pressure he was under was unprecedentedly great. He would not stupidly tell his sister about the details of fixing roads. Otherwise, it would be useless even if she memorized it. That was a way of thinking. Therefore, what he had to do was to temporarily let his sister forget about the current situation and relax. He had to guide her according to her intelligence and experience with words that she could understand. Wang Wan watched from the side. The other 8 children were also listening to their brother. When Xiao Bei heard her brother's question, she suddenly smiled and said, I know. We even went to catch the tujue together. What's his name again? Prince Xian of the left. When we came back to Fengzhou, our dog pulled the sleigh and couldn't see the end of it. At that time, he was scared silly. Hee. Ah, our Xiao Bei is so awesome. I almost forgot that you still have to ride the dog. The dog ran away when it saw you. Zhang Xiaobao played along and pretended to be surprised. Bad dog. Xiao Bei gave a definition of a dog. Then we saw the river, the yellow river. Do you still remember it? Zhang Xiaobao asked. Xiao Bei looked up at the sky and thought. I know. It's winter, but I don't see the trackers. When will we go again? Wait until next spring. When the ice melts, we can take a boat, okay? Zhang Xiaobao made a rowing gesture. Okay, pinky promise. Xiao Bei stuck out her pinky finger. Zhang Xiaobao also stuck out his pinky finger, and the two of them came to an agreement. Wang Wan listened in puzzlement. She wanted to see how Zhang Xiaobao would solve the problem. Zhang Xiaobao continued, when the river just turns around the bend, it's turbulent, and it's hard to pull the cable. There's a rich merchant who has his own fleet, so he wrote a letter to me. When was it? The day before yesterday? Was it the day before yesterday? Zhang Xiaobao looked at Wang Wan as he spoke. Wang Wan understood. It was the night before yesterday. The merchant asked you to judge whether his idea was good or not. That's right. 2 nights ago, he told me to buy some gunpowder and blow it up along the tracker's path. So, it's not this wide. Zhang Xiaobao gestured with his hands to show a 1-meter wide gap. He said that he wanted to blow up the path 3 times wide and blow up the place where the trackers used to climb. This way, he could use horses to pull the cable. It would be faster, and the horses would have more strength. I thought about it and realized that this person. Is he stupid? Xiao Bei was finally brought to the topic by her brother, so she interjected. Zhang Xiaobao pretended to be deep in thought. I also feel that something is missing. Something is not right. Do you still need to think about it? That path can't be blown inwards. There's no place to support it, and there's a mountain on one side. If he blew up such a wide path at the bottom, the soil on the top would fall down. Then, he would spend money to remove the fallen rocks and plant new trees. Otherwise, the top side of the mountain would be completely bald. When it rains, the soil and rocks would roll down. If he planted the trees, would he guarantee that they would survive? If he wasted time, the others wouldn't sail and wait for him? Xiaobei let go of her brother's neck and waved her little fists. Yes, our Xiaobei is still the best. I'll scold him later and tell him that he can't pull the cable like before. What's the point of building a road? Zhang Xiaobao affirmed his sister's words. Xiaobei clenched her fists and thought for a while. Then she said, if he wants to transport goods from Fengzhou to Yunlingzhou, he's willing to fork out a lot of money. Why don't he just blow up the cave and use cement to build the inside? He can just transport goods by land. That's right. Our Xiaobei is still the best. Who said that she couldn't answer the current affairs question? I think that the other examinees will encounter the same problem. They can't compare to our Xiaobei at all. Zhang Xiaobao imitated his sister and waved his fists. Xiaobei regained her usual vigor. Humph, the questions in the imperial examinations aren't specific enough. I don't know who came up with the questions, but we can't generalize. We need to analyze the problems in detail. Yes. I also object to this, so I decided not to answer the current affairs question. I just asked blindly. Zhang Xiaobao was indignant. I think he hasn't stayed in a place before. He doesn't understand the situation of the people and lacks a foundation. Xiaobei evaluated as if she had made a lot of achievements in a place. Zhang Xiaobao wouldn't correct his sister's mistake. It was fine as long as he achieved his goal. Xiaobei, it's late. Let's go back first. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll go to the lakeside and see Shuiyun and her family. Zhang Xiaobao gently wiped the sweat from his forehead. Then, he sent away the 9 younger siblings who had a lot of opinions about the current affairs of the imperial examinations. Only then did Zhang Xiaobao let out a long sigh of relief. Xiaobao, you're amazing. Wang Wan praised Zhang Xiaobao with a smile. I didn't think that you would be able to use this kind of method. How did you know that Xiaobei would be able to answer? Wang Wan was very curious. I've personally met Xiaobei 3 times when the topic of capturing the Tujue's virtuous prince of the left was brought up. Thus, Xiaobei has a very deep impression of that place. Furthermore, she has been thinking about the problem of road construction. Even though she has temporarily diverted her attention, she is still subconsciously thinking about this problem. Moreover, with Xiaobei's personality, if you ask her to make a comprehensive plan, she might not be able to make one, but she can always find flaws in other people's plans. When we came back to take the train, we told them more than once to blow up a cave so that the train could pass through. Children are different from adults in one respect. They can always think about things for a long time, but for them, they either forget or treat things from a long time ago as if they were just yesterday. Zhang Xiaobao explained to Wang Wan. So you're sure that she will definitely cooperate? I'm not sure. I'm also betting. At most, she won't respond to the topic just now. Then, I'll think of another topic. I won't scold her and say things like, "You're so stupid. Do you want to be beaten? You can't even solve such a simple question. What have you been thinking about all day?" I'll say to those adults who educate their children like this, "You're so stupid. You can't even teach such a cute and smart child. Is there water in your brain? You can't even teach a child. What else can you do?" Zhang Xiaobao once again blamed the adults for the child's poor grades and looked down on them. Wang Wan shook her head. You're always thinking differently from normal people. I'll go back and continue writing. Are you going to write essays too? No. I'll go back and think about the problem of opening a cave that Xiaobei mentioned. I'll find someone to look at the geographical environment. If it's feasible, I'll open one. Zhang Xiaobao pointed in the direction of Ling Zhou. You took it seriously. Xiaobei's words are full of loopholes. Why wouldn't I take it seriously? I can find someone to correct the mistakes. What a child says isn't necessarily wrong. In China, if a child says that he will find a way to fly, grow a pair of wings, and jump off a cliff, the adults will usually stop him from thinking about it. Outside, even if the adults don't think it's feasible, they will still encourage it. Thus, the first foreigner to fly with artificial gliders appeared, and the first plane appeared in a foreign country. We didn't restrict our younger siblings, so the first child who can grow on his or her own appeared. Okay, you think about yours, and I'll write mine. Wang Wan didn't care what Zhang Xiaobao was going to do. Okay, I'll arrange the cloth and food first. Chapter 952. Zhang Xiaobao did as he said. He summoned his men and ordered them to stock up necessities from Jiangxi Province, Guanyi Province, Hadong Province, Shannon East Province, Shannon West Province, and Hunan Province along Guanyi Province and the Yellow River. The Zhang families and Wang families' shops in areas prone to winter were to slow down their shipments and not engage in any promotional activities. They were to be prepared to cooperate with the local authorities in case of a disaster. Lu Zhou's fleet of gunships in Lingnan Province was to be deployed and semi-forced labor in the areas outside Great Tang. It was a paid labor migration. Lu Zhou planned the land and prepared to implement the railway project. After putting aside the matter of harming private interests for public good, Zhang Xiaobao wanted to think about his sister's proposal to build a tunnel. However, no one gave him the time to do so. The people from the Ministry of Revenue arrived. This year's autumn harvest was mostly done, except for the areas where the second and third crops were planted. The taxes paid by the local authorities to the bank had to be verified. Zhang Xiaobao had someone summon the inner court official in charge of this matter to check the account books with the people from the Ministry of Revenue. The general account books were already in place. Li Longji had seen them before. Now, they were making a detailed report. In the end, one of the people sent by the Ministry of Revenue boldly asked if the money in the Great Tang Bank was interest-free and had never been lent out. Under Zhang Xiaobao's intense gaze, the person lowered his head and retreated. Zhang Xiaobao could not explain to the other party. Since the money could not be withdrawn from the Great Tang Bank in the capital in one go, there was naturally a buffer period. Moreover, the money was interest-free. How could it not be involved in lending? The lending of money was a form of gain. At the same time, it was a way to stop losses during the depreciation of the currency. This additional profit was not under the Ministry of Revenue's control. It was directly under Li Longji's responsibility. How was Zhang Xiaobao supposed to explain this to the people from the Ministry of Revenue? Why did they have to ask this question when everyone already knew about it? The people from the Ministry of Revenue went to check the detailed data with Zhang Xiaobao and the Wang family. The people from the Ministry of Rights came and asked Zhang Xiaobao if he wanted to arrange some activities during the new year, such as ice lanterns, fireworks, dragon dances, and so on. In truth, the Ministry of Rights wanted to ask for money from the Ministry of Revenue, but the Ministry of Revenue declined on the grounds that the accounts were still being verified. The Ministry of Rights felt that it was a bit difficult to do this with their own money, so they asked Zhang Xiaobao for a plan. Let your thoughts run wild. Don't be stubborn. The person who came was also a student of Zhang Xiaobao's class. Zhang Xiaobao was not polite with his words. If you were polite with your students, they would be worried that you would alienate them. Yes, then what should I do? When the person saw that Zhang Xiaobao was drinking wine, he hurriedly helped Zhang Xiaobao fill up the glass that he had just drunk a third of and respectfully asked for advice. Zhang Xiaobao took out another glass and gestured for the student to pour it himself. After the student poured a little, he raised the glass and said, "This year's harvest has been good. Under the wholehearted education of your Ministry of Rights, the quality of life of the people has improved, the grades of the students have also improved, the soldiers have taken on a new look, and the merchants—" "Forget it. I won't talk nonsense with you. Even if the Tang Empire is rich, if you don't start, the merchants and wealthy people will organize activities themselves. You just need to put up a notice in the Ministry of Rights and let the merchants in the capital contact you. Money will be available. The specific expenses will be paid by the merchants, and they will also give the Ministry of Rights a sum of money to let you complete the activities. Take the money and ask Gao, my adoptive father, ask him if he needs anything, not for you to bribe him. If my adoptive father really wants to take bribes, it won't be your turn. His Majesty likes to hear honest words and is not afraid of hearing from you that the Tang Empire's etiquette is lacking. Of course, it's best if you don't say anything lacking during the new year. Try your best to say something that makes people happy. If you really want to repeat this over and over again, the Ministry of Rights should be held accountable first. The new year is to look forward to and celebrate last year's harvest, not to reflect on it. Spend the money that should be spent. As for the rest of the money, you have worked hard for a year. Cultivate yourself, manage the family, and govern the country. Use the extra money to help the Qi family. Let me say this first, get things done. Don't purposely leave more money for the Qi family. Just do enough. Next spring, you will also need money to work. Hearing Zhang Xiaobao's words, the person from the Ministry of Rights was moved. Teacher Zhang was really good. Everything he said was true. Thus, after seeing his teacher finish the wine in his glass in one gulp, the person from the Ministry of Rights realized that he had poured too little wine for himself. He quickly refilled his glass and finished it as well. Teacher, don't worry. We definitely won't be greedy. Teacher, please continue with your work. This student will take his leave. He also retreated step by step. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the other person's empty glass and felt his heart ache. That wine was his. Were good grapes so easy to make? It depended on how the grapes grew. If I had known this would happen, I would have prepared some yellow wine and drank as much as I wanted. To think that I still came empty-handed. The Ministry of Rights shouldn't just focus on spiritual civilization. They should focus on material civilization as well. Zhang Xiaobao grumbled. He poured himself another glass of wine and took small sips. Things seemed to have happened at the same time. Zhang Xiaobao had been thinking about the cave for less than 15 minutes when the person from the Ministry of Personnel came. He told Zhang Xiaobao that it was the end of the year and the evaluation was about to begin. He wanted to know if the evaluation standards this year should be higher than the previous ones. Zhang Xiaobao resisted the urge to smash his glass and chase the person from the Ministry of Personnel away. He told him to go back and tell the head of the Ministry of Personnel, the head of the Secretariat, and the Emperor. All of them have nothing better to do. I'm not the same as the head of the Secretariat. Why are all of you asking me? How can I be in charge of so many things? Zhang Xiaobao muttered to himself gloomily. The soldier standing guard outside stood straight and tried his best to show Zhang Xiaobao that he was more powerful than the Prime Minister. With a hua sound, the wooden board was pulled open from the other side, revealing Wang Wan who was rubbing her hands. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, "It's cold. Get someone to send a batch of hand stoves to the examinees. Next year, the imperial examinations will start in spring. Get someone to put up the heater first. Otherwise, the stove will have too much dust and it will be difficult to endure many nights." "Okay, I'll arrange it right away. I think the Ministry of War will be here soon. You deal with it. If I interfere, Xiao Yuan will find trouble with me." Zhang Xiaobao said that he would arrange it right away. There was no need for him to specifically instruct someone else. Someone immediately went to do it. He was afraid that the Ministry of War would ask if the army was going to celebrate the Chinese New Year, so he first informed Wang Wan. Xiao Yuan was Yuan Chenyao, the current Prime Minister. Why would the Ministry of War come? Even though I'm teaching the generals, they won't come to curry favor with me like scholars. I'm guessing that the people from the 6 ministries. How many ministries are here now? 3 ministries. More or less all of them are Yuan Chenyao's intentions. He might be waiting for you to finish the examinations and promote you to the head of the Secretariat, making you a deputy minister or something. In the future, when he's more relaxed, he'll push everything to you. Okay. Wang Wan made an okay gesture with her hand. He's not afraid that I'll seize his power? You've already seized his power. You're a provincial commander. Why don't you stay in the Bohai Commander-in-Chief's office and run around everywhere? How else do you want to seize power? Wang Wan said with a smile. Zhang Xiaobao was silent for a moment, then shook his head. I can't enter the capital to be the deputy minister. Otherwise, what will happen to my father? Let's discuss again. Father. Just as he finished speaking, Zhang Xiaobao called out, Father, again. His father really came and just showed himself. Zhang Xiaobao quickly stood up and went forward. He asked his father, Father, your Ministry of Works is fine? I'm just taking an examination. There's no need for you to come personally. Zhang Zhong was followed by 2 officials from the Ministry of Revenue and a group of people from the Seedling Protection Team. They were all working together to check if there was any danger. Provincial Commander Zhang is here. There's no need to be nervous. Zhang Zhong lifted Wei Wei's arm and said. The people from the Seedling Protection Team behind them widened the surveillance area to give Zhang Zhong more space. They put their guns against their bodies and locked the safety, lowering their guard a little. Wang Wan also came over and stood side by side with Zhang Xiaobao. She also asked, Father, do you have other matters? She was used to other forms of address and called Zhang Xiaobao the same as her father. Deputy Provincial Commander Wang is right. I'm here for something. Zhang Zhong put aside his family the moment he opened his mouth. Fortunately, he didn't give official greetings to his son and daughter-in-law. Zhang Xiaobao saw that his father was acting in a businesslike manner and glared at the guards. Why didn't they send someone to inform him in advance? Father, if you have something to do, you can send someone to inform me. When I'm done with the examination, I'll look for you. Why did you come here personally? Zhang Xiaobao went forward and pulled his father to his seat. Wang Wan supported him on the other side. Zhang Zhong followed along and didn't say anything. When they reached their seats, Zhang Xiaobao gave Wang Wan a look. Wang Wan accompanied him for the time being. He turned around and walked to the empty space behind where they had eaten earlier. Wang Wan poured tea and waited for Zhang Zhong to sit down. She pulled a chair and sat on the lower right side. She asked, Father, you haven't had dinner yet, right? I'm here because... Father. I went back to complain to Gong grandfather, Wang Wan said unhappily. Gong grandfather was Zhang Zhong's father and Zhang Xiaobao's grandfather. Zhang Zhong heard this and could only sigh helplessly. There are outsiders here. There are so many examinees and officials watching the examination. Besides, I'm here to talk about the Ministry of Revenue. It's not good to talk in private. Then did you eat? Wang Wan didn't know what to do with her father-in-law. Of course, she had to admit that this kind of official was the most respectable. Zhang Zhong saw that his daughter-in-law was unhappy and hurriedly said, No, it wasn't just dinner. I didn't have time to eat lunch. I only forced myself to eat a piece of cake. Now, I don't feel hungry. That's because you're too hungry. Don't drink the tea. Let's drink the wine. Xiaobao has prepared the wine. Xiaobao will bring the food over in a while. Wang Wan quickly removed the tea and replaced it with wine. No matter how one looked at it, this was the behavior of a good daughter-in-law. This wasn't something she learned after coming over with Xiaobao. She had been taught this in the past. True upper-class society had to know the rules. Zhang Zhong held the wine while looking at his son's song. He glanced over it and nodded. It's more than what I wrote back then. The others were speechless. What kind of evaluation was more words? The imperial examination didn't seem to have anything to do with who wrote more or less words faster. The 2 examinees next door were once again in awe. The person who had just arrived was the current Minister of Works, the top scholar of the Jinsha examination more than a decade ago. The 2 examinees, who had endured psychological shocks time and time again, really began to perform beyond their usual standards. The main reason was that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't avoid them from talking to other officials. Things that involved specific national policies in the officialdom were very helpful to them. Perhaps just a sentence could let them discover another door that was wide open. Hence, they were extremely grateful to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Zhong didn't know that the examinees nearby were willing to listen to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan talk because they could find inspiration from it. After all, the policy questions were asking them what they wanted to do. Zhang Zhong was still worried about disturbing the other examinees, so he deliberately lowered his voice and said to his daughter-in-law, "Cuckoo, the oil extraction was successful. According to what you and Xiao Bao said, we extracted the oil according to the temperature during heating. Everything was produced." Great. Wang Wan was very happy. The oil extraction was successful. That was an earth-shattering change. There was no need to say what it meant. Of course, the so-called advanced technology now was technology that she and Xiao Bao didn't use back then. They didn't even use the traditional extraction method. It was too wasteful. Zhang Zhong nodded first, then waved his hand and sighed. "It's good, but there's a kind of gas inside. It's not easy to control and release it. It leaked out and then met with an open flame. In the end, it exploded." Wang Wan stood up. Her face instantly turned pale, and her hands started to tremble uncontrollably. The examinees in charge of this high-end technology project were all talented people. Not only were their handiwork skills excellent, but they were also smart and flexible. They were also willing to learn. They and their families had been heavily protected. How could Wang Wan not be afraid? He was the academician in her and Xiao Bao's heart. "Don't be afraid." Zhang Zhong saw his daughter-in-law's reaction and quickly comforted her. "It didn't explode. No one died. One person's left face and the other's right leg were injured." Less than 15 minutes after the incident, the doctors in the nearby medical school started to treat them. They said that the injured left eye would be affected. When I went over, I heard the person in charge say that there was a loud bang. A ball of fire rose into the air and then turned into smoke. According to your and Xiao Bao's instructions, we carried out a small experiment and hid very far away. But we didn't expect that the gas would also spray far away. They were accidentally splashed on their bodies. I went to take a look. The wounds were quite scary. They were black and wrinkled. Wang Wan sighed and sat back weakly. She rubbed her face with her hands and said sadly, "It must be LPG gas. What's wrong with it? Is the device not working, or the temperature can't be lowered? Is the extraction speed too fast? During the cooling process, the unit cooling area is too small and the time is not enough? It started to release LPG gas. It must be asphalt that was splashed." Sigh. That thing fell on the body when the temperature was high. How lucky. Open flame? Where did the open flame come from? Didn't I tell them to be careful? Don't mention the open flame. That thing there, a flash of static electricity is enough to explode. Could it be that the pile of things spontaneously combusted? Someone nearby started a fire? Lightning in the sky? Fireflies? Fireflies are the cold source. Zhang Zhong listened to his daughter-in-law talking to herself and was speechless. He really couldn't figure it out. Were the gods really omnipotent? His daughter-in-law was right. The person in charge also had the same idea. It was just that the possibility was not as high as what his daughter-in-law said. In the autumn, the experimental site was in a valley. There was a small pool next to it. The person in charge estimated that there was a fire in a hill more than 4 miles away. The fire flew over and happened to hit something in the crack of the collection tank that couldn't withstand the pressure. Then, Zhang Zhong gave an assessment of the possibility of a disaster. Wang Wan was stunned after hearing it. If the pressure tank cracked but didn't explode directly, then what was the reason? The gas was cooled and frozen during the liquefaction process? From a few miles away, something that could burn and was burning or at the ignition point flew over. When it reached the experimental equipment, it ignited the LPG gas. The probability was too small. Of course, according to Murphy's Law, the more one was afraid of something happening, no matter how small the probability was, it would always happen, or it would definitely happen. Wang Wan knew that the injured person didn't feel good, but there was nothing she could do. She thought that the medical doctor had already taken measures. If she had to find a trace of comfort in the accident, it could only be attributed to the fact that no one died. What's wrong? What's wrong? Honey, what's wrong with your face? At this time, Zhang Xiaobao came back with a big tray. They were together every day, and even all the time. Zhang Xiaobao knew his wife too well, so the moment he saw Wang Wan, he knew that something was wrong with her. Wang Wan took a deep breath, stood up, and took the tray from Zhang Xiaobao. She put it in front of Zhang Zhong and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "He's injured. One of his eyes might not be able to keep it." It happened when he was extracting oil from different temperature layers. According to the analysis, there was a crack in the LPG pressure collection tank, and there was a mountain fire a few miles away. Burning things came directly, or things with a hidden ignition point limit flew over. The leaked gas was directly ignited in the air, and then the things on the ground were blown onto people. Ah! Did the flammable gas explode? No one died? An academician of the Academy of Science, and only one of the eyes of a technician is gone? What about other aspects? Zhang Xiaobao also became nervous. People who had never enjoyed the benefits of science and technology would never know the importance of scientific talents. It was not an exaggeration to say that a real top talent could fight against 1,000,000 soldiers. Being alive was a kind of deterrence. There's another person whose leg is injured. It's a small injury. When the weather is hot, the burned leg will be uncomfortable. It can be relieved with a cold compress. Wang Wan was not worried about the other person. Zhang Xiaobao nodded slowly. The development of science is actually the accumulation of accidents. Dad, you came here because of this? Why didn't anyone tell me and Cuckoo? The two of you had an exam, and I suppressed it. I didn't come here because of the accident. If there's an accident, it's because I didn't eat. I came to tell you that the diesel engine was done. When the accident happened, we had just successfully passed the diesel engine. The diesel engine was inside the... it's called the internal combustion experiment. First, it was used to test the power generation. Everyone was afraid of the explosion, so you don't have to worry about casualties. I came to tell you that the Ministry of Works is running out of money, and the Ministry of Revenue is not letting go of the money. I don't dare to continue to take money from the family because people are saying that our family wants to use technology to threaten the emperor. Do you know how much the diesel engine cost? You and Cuckoo mentioned it. They designed, built, scrapped, redesigned, rebuilt, and scrapped. The waste parts were piled up like a mountain. The person in charge of the diesel engine project told me that the entire diesel engine, the countless parts inside, what's the pressure resistance inside, what's it called? The cylinder. Wang Wan guessed. That's right. It's more difficult than making guns. The steel used to make guns and cannons will be useless once it's used. There's one less copper pad inside, and that won't do. There's a curved iron rod inside, and that won't do. The quality of the balls in the bearing is weak. Once it's rotated, then... No, what's the bearing inside? Oh, it's called the cylinder's inner cover, and that won't do. If there's too little lubricating oil, it'll break when it's ground. If there's too much lubricating oil, it'll block the thing called the nozzle. The spring elasticity has to be about the same. There's also the small steel balls, and they have to be round to a certain extent. Ever since you guys proposed the diesel engine and gasoline engine when you were thinking about the steam engine, we didn't even dare to think about the gasoline engine. Just one diesel engine alone cost 4 million strings of cash. How much did we earn in a year in the past? I'm afraid that people will say that we can't get money again. There's no other way. If you and Cuckoo didn't propose this project, I would have stopped them long ago. We really can't afford to spend the money. Zhang Zhong, who hadn't eaten for 2 meals, drank wine while eating the barbecue made by his son. He ate mutton skewers, bean rolls with coriander and scallions, garlic and eggplant, oysters with oyster sauce, and so on. His mouth didn't rest. He complained to his son without delaying his eating and drinking. Zhang Xiaobao, who was his son, listened to his father speak. He quickly peeled 2 cloves of garlic and put them in front of his father. He said carefully, "Dad, eat slowly. There's no hurry. There's a turtle pot in a while." The so-called turtle pot was turtle soup. The turtle blood was released, and the liquor was mixed with desert cistanche, acanthopanax, and so on. Zhang Xiaobao had to ask his father if he was going home tonight before he could consider whether to serve it to his father. Otherwise, if he finished it and didn't go home, his body would be too hot, and it would be harmful to his body. Zhang Zhong enjoyed his son's cooking. "Why is the mutton a little tough? You can even taste that." Zhang Xiaobao was surprised. It was just released not long before dinner with Xiaoyuan and Xiaobei. It was released less than 2 hours ago, so it can't be tough. Dad, what you're eating is wild boar meat. I made it for Xiaobei and the others to play with, not mutton. Oh. No wonder. Let's not talk about mutton or pork first. What about the money? Zhang Zhong took a closer look. It really didn't look like mutton. He stared and continued to ask about the matter just now. Spend it. What else can we do? How much is 4 million strings of cash? Zhang Xiaobao asked Wang Wan in lip language. Wang Wan thought about it and also said in lip language, according to the grain calculation of our time, 1 copper coin is about 80 cents. 4 million strings of cash is equivalent to 4 billion yuan, and then it's equivalent to 2 billion yuan. 2 billion yuan for a diesel engine experiment with the worst technology. Isn't that a little expensive? It's not expensive. We did the first one. Yes, it's not expensive, Zhang Xiaobao said affirmatively. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.